Okay, fine.
Mama, mama, yeah, my Yahweh.
Josh, so what is he up to?
Beats dealer, beats dealer. Party after party, yeah. Party after party, yeah. There's one place, and that place is the place you can
Do you want to make money, but can't find a way of
find all your parties bring you back. That's why we are Motors Day Parties Supplies. Contact us on Camp Johnson Road, Monrovia, Liberia, next to Yes Transport, or call us on 0777 671 814 0886 777 665.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee. So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa, and a very happy.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. You're listening to the Costa Show. It's a very good day to be here, and thanking all of you, thanking the Almighty God for just another day to be alive, and another day to be alive, another day to see another birthday, and we're very glad to be here. Thank you so much. Boga, are you hearing me well? Boga?
Yeah, I'm getting you loud and clear.
All right, that's beautiful. To those of you watching via Facebook, and can you hear me well? Well, once you can hear me well, the people on SoundCloud, I mean, on the other apps, other platforms should be able to hear us. So we're very glad to be here. We thank God and for life. We thank God for everything. I want to say good morning to our people. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. And it's good to have you all here. Thanks for all uh, the birthday wishes. Grateful to God. Okay, what is that little choot choot choot? That little feedback thing. Do you hear it, or is it just me?
It's only you though.
Yeah, I
There is no.
hear it. Okay, all right, good. So what's going on in town, Bogger? What's the news?
Well, first, before giving any news, I just want to take this time on behalf of every one of us here at the office, Anthony Davis, Emmanuel Weir, George Goer, and the entire folks back home to say happy and prosperous birthday to you. You have been a role model to us. You have taught us a lot of things that everybody will want to learn from for the past years we've been with you. There haven't been a time that he have raised your voice at us, even though sometimes we go wrong, but you managed to hold your anger and then get us.
Mrs. Jeffine Tupa. She celebrates her birthday today as well. Jeffine, I want to say happy birthday to you. Mrs. Melody Mise Ketol, you celebrate today. And I want to say happy birthday to you as well. And to everybody else who celebrates today that I may not personally know, I wish you a happy birthday as well. Okay. So now we will go straight into our show here. Last night, we hosted a second round of fundraising for Help Liberia Now. This organization that received in donation $1 million worth of medical supplies and equipment, ranging from PPEs, hospital beds, medical scrubs, to oxygen concentrators. They have this equipment and supplies, but they need to ship them to Liberia, clear them, and distribute them. There are 3 large 40-foot containers, and that's a lot. To ship one of these containers will cost at least $21,000. Ship, clear, everything. So they had a target to raise $21,000. About 2 weeks ago, we hosted them on the platform, and we raised $6,000 that night. $6,000 in an hour and 30 minutes or so. $6,000. And so last night we hosted them for the second time, and we raised another 6,000. But yes, how we raised it? What? 6,500 really. So we raised 1,500 on the show from small donations from our people, 1,500. And then the CEO of the Spoon Foundation, Mr. Stanton Weatherspoon, he on behalf of his foundation, through Ben Sanvi, who made the pronouncement, but of course he called me as well. He gave the rest of the money, $5,000, to help ship those equipment, the first of 3 containers to Liberia. So the total amount that was raised last night on the Costa Show for that very worthy effort was $6,500. We raised it, and so now they have reached a little over 21,000. They have just about 21,500 or 21,000 something, but they're well over $21,000. So they're going to be able to ship the first container to Liberia containing brand new medical equipment and supplies. I want to say in a very special way, thank you to all of our people who chipped in from Liberia, from all over the world, the Friends of Henry Costa, Australia, the COP, Liberia, the COP, USA, the Vonjama Global Development Association, and just everyone who chipped in. We were able to raise on this platform $12,500 toward that effort. And we're grateful to God for have been able to help to do that. And those equipment, the first of which will be on its way to Liberia. And I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Stanton Weatherspoon for that very generous donation of $5,000 last night. Thank you all so much, and we thank God. Now, I want to say, yesterday, Bagai, the government of Liberia made a decision to reverse its decision, which was wicked, which was insensitive, which was selfish, which was stupid, to suspend the decision to inflict those terrible fees on the Liberian people, inspection fees. Larry, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Don Pedro. Good morning, Boyka Kamara, and happy birthday to the mover and shaker.
Thank you, my brother.
Good morning.
We're honored. So, Larry, as we're saying, yesterday the government made a decision to reverse their earlier decision to jack up the inspection fees at the port. I mean, they had jacked them up to the range of 200 to 300% overnight, just like that. No full warning at all. So yesterday they said they're gonna suspend it for 1 year, and then after a year they're gonna reinstitute those high fees. Well, we will see what they will do, but that's what they said yesterday. We're very happy about that, because we know how badly those high fees would have affected every single price of every single imported commodity in the country. You're an economist, you know what that would have done to prices, you know how that would have affected purchasing power You know that how that would have compounded poverty in the country, and so that's why we were so pained about it, and we are thankful to God that at least for once they seem to have listened to undo a terrible thing that they had intended to do or they had already done. So I just wanted to say
it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what is the how do they define pro-poor? Because you can't say you have an agenda that is pushing policies to help the poor people, but yet you are on the back end hitting them with these little. This is like a tax, because the people who are importing stuff, they're not going to absorb the cost of this whatsoever. They're simply going to pass it off to the consumers. So when you look at the balance of payments, you can see that we are an import nation. We import a lot of stuff. So consider if we didn't have civil society organizations or people like Henry Costa who comes out, catches these things and bring it to public attention, people will experience this pain, this misery, and not even know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? This is why Liberia is ranked number 2 on the misery index. Arthur Okun's law, misery index. When you take unemployment and you look at things like inflation or even the total output in the country, Liberia is ranked number 2, right behind Zimbabwe. And we've been sitting there for such a long time. So people shouldn't be criticizing the civil society organizations, the Henry Costas of the world out there, and other people who catches these things and mention it. I want to ask the government, do they understand what it means by pro-poor? It's not to make more people poor, in case if that's what their intentions are. Is to alleviate poverty, reduce the burden against the poor people, not to harm them. And I'm glad this thing came out. You put the heat on them. They were wise enough to recognize what was going on. But they suspended it, for just 1 year?
Yeah, what they said is they are suspending it for a year, and it will be reviewed and a year from now, and then they will reinstitute it. We see them doing that. I wait to see them do that, because a year from now, Larry, we're going to be less than a year from the elections.
Yeah, we're 20-something months away. So a year from now, that will probably put us around maybe 20 months or 19 months. So, the people will feel this misery. People will vote based on I know some people will vote based on tribalism, based on who you like and who. But a lot of people will vote based on how their pain and suffering, which is the economy right now. If you cannot go out there and buy rice to feed your family, you cannot buy the things you were buying before with the amount of money that you have. Remember that come election time. You need to remember that.
Exactly.
It will just not work, because if it can be canceled now and push for a year ahead, because coming up in the following year will be approaching election time and the guys want the votes. So once they come up with it again and Liberian people raise an eyebrow on it, say, oh, President we don't need a particular thing, forget it. President Weah can do anything now just to get more votes.
That's true. Yeah. And so we'll see. We'll see what they will do, whether they will risk that.
But they're wasting their time. Man. It takes by the time they try to turn the economy around, we'll be in 2022, and you're not going to see evidence of anything happening until towards the end of 2023. By then, it will be too late. So,
And here's the thing, Larry. So we're actually just 26 months away from the elections, right? 26 months.
Yeah.
Okay. We got four more months for the end of 2021. So we will soon be in December, and then that means January of 2022. When we're in January 2022, we will literally be saying, there's the election right there. Yeah. And by 2022, straight into 2023, it's going to be, everything is going to be about elections.
It's going to be all about elections. And what the CPP, especially what our man JNB, and I say our man because I spoke with the Ambassador Boycott, and I am going to support Ambassador Boycott. So put the word out there. I am 100% behind Ambassador Boycott. I'm going to offer my advice on finance, on the economy, and I'm looking to bring on board a lot of technical people as well, people who are very strong on writing policies. I started making some phone calls yesterday, calling people, and I'm going to make a lot of phone calls, people in Liberia, people outside of Liberia, not only to raise money, but also to help write some policies to help Ambassador Boycott, because for me, I believe he's the right person at the right time. So with the economy as it is right now, look, these guys have scaled the economy back to 2008 level. The GNI, the gross national income right now, how much money on average a typical Liberian gets, it's around $245. That's taking us way back to 2007, 2008 levels. They have actually made things worse over the past 3.5 years rather than grow. Madam Sirleaf wasn't the best in the world. She did her part. You know, Liberian economy is very complex, extremely complex. But you can take where someone is, is going uphill, someone is doing their best, and then you take the wheels off and push the bus downhill again. That is no good. So everybody in Liberia who's feeling pain, if gas prices, electricity, all those costs, if they're going up for you, that's because the government cannot manage the economy. So you're feeling it, and that's what we need to focus on.
And you pay a close attention to the data released by themselves, by the CBL.
By them. So if they want to argue, don't get mad with me. Get mad with the CBL. They're the one publishing this stuff.
The World Bank published a report the other day. Our GNI dropped by 5%. Do you know what it means? 5%. For the gross national income, the money in people's pockets to reduce by 5%. And now 5% may sound small, but that is quite a lot of money.
It's around $245 per year on average. $245. Do you know what it was back in 2007? In 2007, It was around $258. People were making far more, which puts Liberia still in the least developed countries category. But in 2007, it was $258 per person. Today, it's $245 per person. It's gotten worse since 2007. In 2013, Madam Sirleaf managed to get it up to around $305 maybe. It was rising up. Then Ebola hit and it fell. But then by 2017, it managed to go up slightly, but then we had the election and then things have gone downhill since then. Don't say, oh, Larry is saying that. Go check out the CBL's website. Go check out the World Bank website that Costa just mentioned. It's there. The evidence is there.
Yeah, it is. But
and that's why the misery index is so high. That's why we rank number 2 on the misery index, because we just haven't had any productivity in the country. Unemployment is extremely high, 85, 86%.
To be that high on the misery index, that means we are miserable people. We're catching hell. Our lives are miserable, right?
The GNI, it tells you people income has fallen to 245. People have to be miserable. You can't afford. We have food insecurity. People are miserable. It's plain and simple, And if somebody is asking what others outside are doing, well, credit to Don Pedro for hosting the fundraiser. And I heard him mention the Spoon Foundation and so many others. Some of us, we make some donations, but other from business accounts and stuff. But I tell you this, people need to understand what is biting them. What is biting them is the economy. The economy is horrible, it's terrible, and that would make so many people miserable. That's why the misery index is an economic formula that looks at total production in the country, looks at things like inflation. We rank number 2. We're right behind Zimbabwe. We are ranked behind Zimbabwe of all countries.
To be right behind them. Are you kidding? For anything such as anything south of the positive. That's a terrible thing. Yeah. Well, man, I swear. Now, these little things that they do and they tout them as though it's gonna make people's lives better, and you don't. I don't get it. They don't do anything that makes sense. It's just absolutely crazy. Now, Larry, we had a situation a few days ago with a pretty handsome crowd of Liberians coming out to demand justice for the death of a truck driver who was healthy as far as his family was concerned. He got up that day to go to work like every other day. And this day he didn't make it back home. Why? Because 3 police officers jumped him and they beat him, and he collapsed and died. Now, I mean, it is only plausible to conclude that it was as a result of the physical altercation with the police that led to his untimely death. The police didn't even have the courtesy to dispatch a delegation to his family to just offer condolences and promise to investigate until 10 days, almost 10 days later.
Yeah.
When the people came out, before they finally said, we're going to send people to come and sympathize and stuff like that. What do you make of that?
Man, the rule of law. The rule of law is so critical when it comes to developing a country. You cannot have police not abiding by the rule of law. We've seen the lawmakers do not abide sometimes by the rule of law. Now, and I don't want to just say all of them, because some of them do play by the rules. But the police, they are there to protect and serve, right? They are civil servants, meaning the people are paying their salaries. But when you start taking the law into your own hands, being the arresting officer, being the jury, being the executioner, and nothing comes of it, this leads to what? It leads to mob justice. It will lead to mob justice. Why do you think when some of the motorcyclists there, when one of the people get hurt, they take the law into their own hands? Because they just don't trust the justice system to come and rescue them. So we need to focus on that, man, because the police, and this is not just exclusive to Liberia, you know, even though in West Africa is, you don't see police officers or police departments getting sued, unlike in other countries where for wrongful death, you can sue and get compensated. But in Liberia, you don't see that as often, right? So, yeah, I mean, this is going to lead to mob justice, but we haven't been very successful. And I say we, Liberia, haven't been very successful in solving any of the high-profile crimes out there. What happened to the guy from Matthew Enos? Those things. Any of those things get solved? Anyone get prosecuted? Nah, man. The government is just not doing a good job. They're just not doing a very good job, whether it's on the legal side, the justice side, the healthcare, the economy. It's time for them to go.
It is. Larry, we have an interesting situation where the government of Liberia, through Dr. Francis Kete, he's the chief medical officer and deputy minister of health, reached out to Liberians here. We're talking about the medical supplies, and asked that they needed help to help us. We are out of everything. We need support. And so Dr. Francis Kete wrote them a letter and basically listing all of the things they need: beds, oxygen concentrators, blah, 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 PPEs, which are badly in demand. And so these guys honored the letter from Dr. Kete, SOS letter, went out and sought out donations in medical supplies. They got $1 million worth of equipment. And Larry, you would think that this government would say, you know what, submit us the invoice for shipment and we will take care of it. But no, Larry, they haven't sent a cent, neither have they committed to sending 1 cent. The cost of shipping one of these containers is medical equipment. You got to pack them, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's about $21,000 to ship and clear, all that kind of stuff. These people have to go out on their own to raise money to ship the equipment that they got free of charge for the government. Larry, what does this tell you?
My man, 30% of what it costs for the president to fly a private jet is what it could have taken to ship medical supply to impact 500,000 people. 30%, the cost of the fuel, the cost of the time the plane is sitting on the tarmac, all of that. 30% of that amount given to ship these goods, it would have impacted over 500,000 people easily. We are a country where we have rubber, but we don't have PPEs. It's so sad. It is so sad. The government should have stepped up right away. These are the kind of things that you show leadership, right? You step right up. And this is not, the legislators could have done that with the 30,000 they've been slipping into their back pocket. They could have stepped up and had this thing covered, like we discussed the last time, right, Pedro? We discussed this the last time. They could have stepped right up and said, look, listen, I will make a donation for that. Look at what Henry is doing for his birthday. He's asking, rather than sending him gifts or anything, make a donation to a nonprofit organization. That's what you do. The government should have stepped up, made a statement saying we will cover the cost of these shipments, get it out there, and have this thing shouldn't be a private fundraising.
Yeah. They could even try to put some of them on a cargo jet
and have it in the country in no time.
Possible.
Yeah. And have it in the country in no time. Because this is what you do when you have a pro-poor agenda. You're looking for ways to impact the poor people, not just the people in Monrovia. And I'm looking mainly at the people in the interior, because people tend to forget about them. When you look at the poverty numbers, it's mainly a greater proportion of the people poor than in the interior section of the country. So you make an effort, you pay for that thing, put it on a jet, or don't even put it on a ship because it takes too long. Put it on a jet and ship it over there. That thing is covered. That's what pro-poor is all about. Putting policies in front. Yeah.
But they themselves too will be thinking, who are the people behind this? Who are those bringing the medical equipment? Because they don't want to be seen as being politically motivated or it's a political honor too. We have some political honor too. The Henry Costa is getting involved, so it's from the opposition. So those are things that just come up to their mind. Who are the people that are bringing this medical supply to Liberia? What are their intent? What are they bringing it for? Even if it is benefiting Liberian, but once it is I have some political honor to, like a man like Henry Costa is attached to it, raising funds for the shipment of this particular medical supply. They don't want to get involved with it. They would never want to get involved with it.
Black Guy makes a good point because they make everything political.
Yes.
Yeah, but hey, Waka and Larry, I'm only involved because the government has not stepped up to provide the money.
They don't think in that way. They just see it. That's a time when you say all men and women should come to the aid of their country. You set aside politics, you become more nationalistic, and you help the country. But when I see it that way, it makes you think about, if I'm having a problem with Henry Costa saying,
guys,
look, Larry,
you guys, I don't know what is from my end, but you guys are breaking in. Both of you guys, Larry, the connection seems a little patchy. I don't know whether it's my end or whether it's your end, but even
can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, now you're okay. But let's hope it stays that way. Yeah, you can go on, Larry.
Let me check my device. I thought my device should be okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay now, but it was breaking. Even Waka was breaking earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if I can be on the opposite side of Henry Costa or the opposite side of Boycott or the opposite side of anybody, politically, but when a country needs help, we're supposed to set aside. Weren't there someone who was saying this is, helping the country with COVID is not political? It should be strictly to help the country. So they make everything politics, man. And Black Guy is right on that. But, leadership calls for knowing when to set politics aside and help the people, Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's it wasn't doing that, but it just suddenly started breaking up, and so I hope it improves. Folks, you're listening to the Costa Show. Today it's August 6th, 19. Sorry, I was about to call my year of birth, 2021, and we're here this morning. We're waiting for Isaac to join us, and we have a lot of things to talk about. Buckeye, what are the trending issues on the ground right now in Liberia? Are people going out to take the vaccine? Are these? Do you think people? Are you hearing that people are turning out to take the vaccine?
Yeah, people are going to take the vaccine, and but the concern raised none about the vaccine. All of the places outlined by the National Public Health Institute to be for where people can go and get a vaccine, they are all based in Moserado County. There haven't been any area earmark in the other counties where you can go and take your vaccine. So I don't know if they are now focused on Moserado and forgetting the other counties or what. So for now, they are just all about Moserado. Other places, there haven't been any place earmarked yet where you can go and get your vaccine. So that's raising another eyebrow. It can be a Moserado thing. It should be a Liberia thing.
And you see what I was saying in terms of people forgetting about folks in the villages and the interior? That's everything is just focused on Montserrado when we have all the other counties to look at, you know.
Is it laziness, Larry? I mean, they do have resources. The virus is in other counties. The virus is not a Montserrado County virus. It's in other counties.
Sure. Yeah.
So why can't they set up shop in those counties?
It makes you wonder what the legislators or the representatives for the counties are doing. They should be petitioning on behalf of the counties to make sure this thing is
demanding that the vaccine. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. There's equity in the distribution of these vaccines. You know.
Now, when you look at the data in terms of the where the vaccine is and stuff, I mean, where the virus is raging hell. Montserrado, of course, is the epicenter. We agree, but it is not the only place. Look at those numbers, Bwaka, and why we're talking. Just tell us, because there are other counties that have reported COVID cases. So they've got just about 500,000 doses of the vaccine. And the good thing is this J&J is just a one dose.
Shot. Yeah,
it's one shot exactly. So that's 400,000. Is it 302,400 doses? Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So other counties that are reporting cases, like I said, like almost the entire country of bombing have 63, Bong 120, Bapolu 39, Grand Bassa 96, Grand Cape Mount 663, Grand Jide 24, Grand Cru 18, Lofa 121, Magibi is 256, Maryland 57, Moserrado is 4,344, Nimba is 128, River Cess is 16, River G is 37, Sano is 14. So you see.
So Magibi is the second hardest hit after Montserrado.
Sure. Yeah.
The thing
is, I can understand why.
And
they haven't set up shop yet in Magibi.
They haven't been nothing.
But you know, Larry, do you know the government is completely relying on the Americans, the international community, to send us free vaccines and free everything? That's their strategy. Their strategy is the bag.
We built our entire. When you look at the budget, we have embedded in the budget grants, which is essentially begging, right? We have that built directly into the budget. It tells you, a lot of times the governments do not have any strategy whatsoever. And I hear Emmanuel Foley III over here saying, reference to the shipping of the medical supplies. He's saying the lawmakers do not reside in their respective constituencies, and that's their problem. He's right. They don't actually live in these counties to understand the pain and suffering these people are going through. So he's absolutely correct. The thing that the COVID is not just in Monrovia. There should have been a plan laid out in terms of how the vaccine would be distributed. It is still less than 1% of the entire population that will receive this vaccine, but still it is something. But there needs to be fair, equitable distribution. Lawmakers should not be first online in order to get the vaccine. I hope that's not how they're distributing it. The elderly should be online. The first responders, meaning the healthcare people who are dealing with people with COVID, they should also be,
Larry, the first was the executive coming to the legislature, the judiciary, other people before coming to medical practitioners.
And then when the medical people get sick, where are they going to go for treatment?
So,
When the
It's
medical people
upside
get sick,
down.
they will go to the lawmakers for treatment. Like. That's what they do them for, the cabinet officials. And we
But
had
the whole thing upside down. The whole thing is upside down. You know, you got to have a strategy, man. You take care of the healthcare workers first. Same thing when it comes to paying their salaries. You take care of the healthcare workers first.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Really, really is. Baka, we're gonna go to the phone lines. We're gonna take some calls there. You know, this morning, because a lot of people want to call in and talk to us. You know, the crazy thing about being here on a birthday is that the show gets we get
It's overwhelmed by birthday greetings.
Exactly. Overwhelmed by birthday. It's hard to
That's all I'm seeing. Yeah, everybody, happy birthday, happy birthday.
I know. It's like a birthday show. Yeah, man. But seriously, Larry, we had Mike Jabate on yesterday.
Yeah.
And Mike is an interesting guy.
So say the least.
And one of the things Mike Jabate said that really, struck me was that George Weah was afraid, and we did hear that. We actually heard it. That we had told the people after the Senate elections, when we beat them so badly, that they should not tamper with the results because he didn't want to have any blood on his hands or having anybody shot or anything like that, because of course they knew that would have happened. I mean, people would have jumped on the streets and my man, all over the world. Larry, you follow elections. I mean, elections, the election is the lighter for trouble. It's a spark.
Yes.
You mess around with elections, man, people will die. People will get on the street. Yeah. I mean, the country could go from peaceful, calm to total implosion when you try to seal an election. And so Mike Jabate said we was afraid of that. And then the figure, look, we've lost it. Let's try to improve and whatever. But looking at what he said and what they've done and continue to do you think these guys realize they're in a bad situation, Larry? Do you really think that? I mean, with the Liberian people?
I don't think, you see, I don't believe that the president is being well informed. And I say that because whenever the president steps out, I'm getting feedback. I don't know if it's me. Let me adjust my device here. Okay.
Yeah, because we don't hear it.
Okay. Whenever the president steps out, there's always a large crowd. And they interpret that crowd to mean supporters, which is not necessarily true. The people who are sitting close to the president giving him advice on the economy, they're not telling him the truth as well. Because if the president recognizes that, hey, people are miserable, the economy is bad, I don't know if he would try to change, because, right, for example, the president of, I think it's South Africa. Yeah, I think it's South Africa. Ramaphosa. Yeah, South Africa. He's reshuffling his cabinet. Election in South Africa is going to be in 2024. But right now he's reshuffling his cabinet. How many times have we heard about people talking about the president? Wasn't Akaris Gray one time talking about they need to make a change? Didn't Akaris Gray say that one time? Did anything happen? Yeah. Did anything happen? No, nothing's happened. So I don't think he's realized the mess, they're in. And if he does, maybe he just had given up and saying, something, let's election come and let's turn this thing over to somebody else. But I don't think they have a strategy in place. Because if you have a strategy in place, you would not put the person who is in charge of the economy, to run the central bank. That's something that you just wouldn't do because he just doesn't have the requisite experience to do that. And that's one of the most critical jobs in the country. So do they understand the mess they're in? Nah, probably not. Probably not.
You struck a good point, Larry. Governments all over the world, they do reshuffles, especially when things don't seem to be working well. When the economic indicators are bad, they will reshuffle.
Even on a football game. Use a football analogy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what is it? Well, he's gone more than halfway into his presidency, he hasn't removed one official of government. One.
But Costa, the problem is that he's thinking, if I take Minister X from the position, who can I replace him with? Do they have people that are willing to come and work for them? Because everybody know now that they have failed already. So nobody want to come and then join this particular train that is already going down the dream. So those are some of the things. If I take for many Henry Costa from a particular position, how will I convince Larry Kennedy to come and serve this post that Henry Costa was serving? So those are some of the things.
Yeah, it's not going to work, because who wants to? When people are jumping off a sinking ship, you ever heard of a situation when people jump onto a sinking ship? People don't say, "Oh, that ship is sinking." Well, hold on one second. Let me jump on it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. So and they lie so much, Larry. Samuel Twe has a fake page. Well, everybody knows that. Especially the other day, he exposed himself. I did a post about him. Everybody knew it was his page, but he really confirmed it the other day. So I did a post about him, and he posted to reply to me, calling himself a reputable person, denying that he did not jump into the World Bank's account and illegally, without their consent, withdraw $3.3 million. So he just did a post 1 hour ago. I'm going to read it. Priska Paul, that's the name of the page. Larry, you are aware of that page, right?
Yeah.
Priska Paul? Yeah, that's
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the post he wrote. This administration met a debt burden of over $450 million owed CBL by CPP UP regime, and over $60 million owed commercial banks, monies that could barely be justified. In fact, under the CPP UP regime, the Minister of Finance is all day on Facebook campaigning and talking rubbish, doing politics. CBL was giving out loans. Just imagine, there's a whopping $75 million under the table debt. Fine. Let's come forward and see what a bold-faced lie this boy is telling you. He said this has changed. Under this government, President George Weah has mandated that there be no borrowing from the CBL. The CBL will be CBL be independent and credible, void of interference from central government. This is exactly the case. Wait,
let's take.
wait, Larry, just hold on there. June 10, Larry, Monday, June 10, 2019. A few days after the June 7th protest, when we have responded to the protest publicly in an address to the nation, a speech that he made, we have stated very clearly, speaking to the issue of the CBL, that he had instructed his government to not do any borrowing from the CBL anymore, because the IMF had told them to stop borrowing from the CBL.
It was the IMF that told them that the CBL cannot finance the debt. CBL cannot finance the debt. Okay.
Right. This is Samuel Twe lying that we have told them that there be no borrowing after they depleted. You guys nearly depleted the CBL.
To get into the IMF program, it was part of the requirements. The IMF told them they had to stop borrowing. The CBL needed to stop financing the deficit, because they have one of the largest budget deficit of all time. And but let me go back a couple of steps. Did Twe ever work in the UP government?
Yeah, he did. He worked as an economist.
So what is he talking about?
For AmeriCorps.
So what is he talking about when he's saying it was the CPP UP government when he was part of the UP government? So let's just throw that other argument out of the window.
Well, he was in the government. He was an economist, by the way.
Yeah, he was economist,
making over $7,000 a month.
If I remember correctly, I think I heard him at one time saying he used to write some of the annual message for President's Relief. He was writing annual message for President. Yep. And at the same time, he was writing the rebuttal statement for the CDC. If I'm wrong, he can post a message and correct
I
me,
wouldn't be
but
surprised if you said that, Larry.
I can get one of my peking from Globe Afrique to look it up. But I believe I heard him saying, I know he was writing statements for Madam Sirleaf, but he was also doing the rebuttal for CDC. So he was playing both sides. He was playing both sides of the game. But why would he refute that when the ambassadors made statements out there saying he should replenish the money? Why would he refute that?
Because he lies. Because he lies. That's what he does, and he's not a very good liar. Now, Larry, there's another element to this, right? These guys, I've never seen the government so cocky and so ignorant that even the simplest things that people can own up to is, okay, this 1 year we blunder, right? Let's do something about it. These guys think that to acknowledge a mistake is a sign of weakness. To say, look, we may have made a mistake with this thing here, but we can do it. You don't even have to say it, but just try to do something about it. They never do. These guys have never left campaign mode. The Minister of Finance is on Facebook talking about CPP regime or the CPP and the UP regime. They're constantly campaigning. I don't get it. Larry, you've won power now. You're in power. Why can't you lead, govern? Govern. That should be the objective.
Yeah, when you don't have a strategy to grow the economy, when you don't have a strategy to improve the healthcare system, when you don't have a strategy to improve the educational sector, when you don't have a strategy to improve the infrastructure, the roads and the bridges, what else can you do? I mean, you tried tribalism. That apparently doesn't seem to be working. So what are you going to do? You will jump into campaign mode and start attacking the opposition. But don't attack the opposition. Go attack the CBL, because they're the ones who are saying that the economy has fallen year over year. GDP has fallen year over year. Unemployment rate has risen to 86%. Don't attack the opposition. Go attack the CBL. They're the ones saying it. You know, they can't get out of campaign mode.
Do you know if these guys could order the CBL to not release those damaging data year after year? Do you know they would?
They would tamper with it, and this is where the
reason
IMF.
Why they can't, because the IMF is closely involved with the CBL.
Correct. If you start messing around with the CBL data, you become totally not only irrelevant, but people just wouldn't trust you. People don't trust governments because their budgets are never accurate anyway. So people don't have faith on the fiscal side. Then when you start messing around with the monetary side, you're not going to have no relationship with the IMF. You know, it's going to be zero. Yeah. And what's that going to do? There's just so much to dissect what you are reading. Do you realize that the amount of money borrowed under this government is at an all-time, it has risen since we had the debt forgiveness, you know, in 2010, the amount of debt has been increasing year over year. We're even now in a debt suspension program with the IMF. I mean, there's some other countries in there as well, but we're in a debt suspension program because we're at risk of not being able to even meet our debt obligations. So, you know, anyone want to talk about the upcoming election? Please don't bring tribalism. I'm not going to discuss tribalism. Don't talk about personalities. I'm not going to discuss personalities. I'll see if they're going to look at the financial sector and the economy, and we can talk about healthcare and education as well. You know, so that leaves nothing for them to discuss.
Thank you. Well, folks, you're listening to the Costa Show. Today is August 6, 2021. The time in Monrovia is 8:19. The time in Delaware is 4:19. And we will go to the phone lines and take some calls. The reason we want to do it towards the end is because we don't want you to get swamped by birthday greetings. So we're going to try to, dedicate as little as possible time to that particular segment, the phone calls. Let's look at. So yesterday they broke grounds, and Larry, for this project behind it's like they'll have a bulwark, they'll have volleyball courts, basketball courts, 2 football fields right there behind the the barracks, the BTC, and I think I think they're folks in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, one of those places. They are the ones financing this project. So it's the government makes such a big deal of those little. I think it's a $5 million project. It's not a bad thing at all. It's going to be a good thing. But at the end of the day, like when these guys manage to get something small to happen, they make such a big deal of it. What is it with that? Is it because they can't get big things to happen, so the small things are amplified and super amplified? Is that why?
It's one of those feel good projects, because at the end of the day, it's just making them feel good, but it doesn't really do anything to move the needle on a development scale. That needle is not going to move. It's great you're putting something out there to help the people, but again, it's focused in Monrovia. Do we have something like that outside of Monrovia?
Nope.
Yeah, but my problem with that particular development is that they place the position that their position in that structure is very, very wrong, because half of PHP is being wiped away by the sea.
Sea erosion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sea erosion. Now carrying such a structure that will just last for a few years and be carried away by the sea. I don't know what are they thinking and going to carry on such a development. It's not strategic at all. It's not. So they will just do it for a few years, for 2-3 years, and then when the sea carry away, they will start looking for another place again to go and spend another money.
I wonder if they did any feasibility study to see if that was the best place to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong location. But hey, give the young people something to do, get them off the streets. Yeah, I give them credit for that. But at the same time, let's see what they're doing in Nimba, the second most populous county. Let's see what they're doing over there. Let's see what they're doing in other places, in Lofat, in Maryland. Let's see what they're doing. But it's a feel-good project, like the roads they were doing, the little feeder roads. Those are all feel-good projects. What you called it the last time, a white elephant project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they are,
As you said, it's not going to move the needle on a development scale. There are lots of low-hanging fruits that could actually make a difference. But our guys don't seem to see those things.
There's a huge opportunity. Yeah, they're low-hanging fruits. They're huge opportunities, but they just don't have the creativity, or they just don't have the practical experience. A lot of them know the theoretical stuff because they went to college and they read it somewhere in a book. But at the end of the day, they just don't have the practical experience in terms of how to do it. Look at what happened with at the University of Liberia with this whole e-learning thing.
Larry, after Tue graduated from LU, came to the States, he actually did get to go to George Washington University. I think he went to George Washington. So he got a master's there. But then he never worked in his field. He never worked in his field. He drove truck, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with truck driving. It's a great job, and people make a lot of money from doing it. But the Ministry of Finance, he doesn't drive trucks there. He runs the economy. So he worked in a different sector, doing a great job, driving truck, making a lot of money. We agree, because truck drivers, he was driving a tractor-trailer truck, and they make a lot of money. It's a good job, well-paid job. But running the economy is not driving a truck. If the Ministry of Finance was in the business of tractor-trailer driving, then perhaps to have many hours of on-the-road experience.
Put him in transportation.
Huh?
Maybe he should have been in the transportation ministry.
Yeah, but perhaps they should have sent him to the NTA, where the Herbert McCully guy is. But he's the Minister of Finance. This is not his area. So how do these guys make that kind of justification? I mean, you take a guy from one sector and you make him Minister of Finance in the country with a troubled economy, and you expect him to turn things around. It makes absolutely no sense.
This is why nations fail. This is why Acemoglu and Robinson said in their seminal work, this is why nations fail. Because we don't put people in positions based on practical experience. We put them based on friendship. We put them based on their tribe. They're part of my clan. Look at the administrator at the Ministry of Finance. I think you spoke about it one time, right? Who's the administrator over there, Ministry of Finance?
McGill's sister, Rebecca McGill.
How much experience does she have in administrative work?
She was the secretary in her church. She says she managed the church financial records. She helped increase the church's financial, turnover in tithes and stuff like that. And she's now the administrator of the Ministry of Finance.
I'm sure she did a fantastic work in that field, but
in the church, yes.
Right, but is that something that would translate to such a high-profile technical job? Look, we got to get serious about developing this country. No, got to get serious about developing this country. There is no
a secretary in the church. It's not even a full-time job. I said, welcome. Are you kidding?
I can guess you're talking about your sister.
Huh?
I can guess you're talking about McGill's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rebecca McGill. The woman goes for a Senate hearing. One of those senators go ask the woman, what is fiscal policy? The woman says, Jesus.
I see Wen Saley. I think I've seen him on social media. He says,
don't mind that kid, man. That's not old man.
He said in 2021, Liberia opposition is criticizing e-learning. Wow. In this technological age, I can't wait to debate some of these guys who pay money to get popular.
Nobody can debate you. You boy, just go sit down somewhere. But listen,
wait, hold up, Pedro. I would take Wen up on that challenge to debate e-learning. I would take him up on that because I actually wrote a paper. E-learning. Well, hold up. E-learning doesn't work in Liberia. M-learning is what would work in Liberia. So let me give him advance notice for him to go and study M-learning, because the proliferation of mobile phones in Liberia is what is even far more beneficial. But not even using M-learning because you have an internet situation. Then you need to contact Hughes Satellite, because Hughes Satellite has a VSAT system that can really help internet throughout Liberia. So I'm not sure if Wen wants to have this conversation because it may be above his pay grade. Because for someone who has a technical background and who develops systems like this, I think, and I look, e-learning, my classes right now is all e-based, right? But I also have the ability to develop software and apps that can help on the M-learning platform. So I don't think that he wants to get into that conversation, but I'll be willing to have that conversation with him anytime, right? Isaac, we can bring him to our show. We can discuss this.
We are very open. Anything to enlighten the Liberian people, especially when people are posturing, pretending to know things that they don't know. So it's good to bring them on and get them exposed to what the realities are.
I'm sorry, I'll not read his comments again. I take that off.
Larry, you just granted the man his wish. You read his comments. You feel so good right now. Thanks for doing that, for lifting his spirit this morning. Isaac, welcome. Isaac, we want to say congratulations to you on your preferment as the Chief of Staff to Mr. Alex Cummings. Everyone agrees that Mr. Cummings made a very good decision, asking you to help him in a very key role. I couldn't think of anybody better suited for the job than yourself. And we wish you best of luck. And you remain an invaluable contributor to this platform, and we look forward to continue to have you. And so Mr. Cummings has a plug-in now, direct plug-in with the Costa Show.
Thank you, Henry.
Now Larry is on the other side, and it's a beautiful thing. Larry just announced before you came. I said, I'm sorry, before you come in. Larry announced earlier that he's on board with the Buckeye team, and we have Isaac is the Chief of Staff to Alex Cummings. It's beautiful. You may go ahead.
So Buckeye representing we are?
No, Larry.
He's cynical. He's so modest guy.
No position.
Buckeye no position. Okay. No. Okay. So Henry, seriously, walk me through the mindset that most people, even the supposedly rational, educated people just think that because I'm with the Cummings side, with the ANC, and you support boycott with the ALP, so we supposed to just blow up and not have any business relationship. What's the explanation for it? Our people should do?
Is the toxicity of our politics. You know, it's crazy, but that is the case. That's a situation in which we find ourselves. But you see, that's why it is incumbent upon us, people like us who are fortunate to consider ourselves, you know, enlightened, you know, to a degree, and to show them otherwise, and you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Larry, you want to add anything to that?
I will withhold my comments on the grounds that I might incriminate myself.
Okay. I just want to add that it's just important for us to learn that even when we have different positions or we're aligned with different organizations, institutions, political parties, there's still a lot of room for us to collaborate and work together, especially when we talk about wanting a better Liberia, wanting a better country, having the same, you know, patrimony, and wanting to contribute to the development of that country. So I just hope this can be an example for people to understand you can have different viewpoints, but you're not enemies. And just to reduce the level of insulting, the level of negativity, the diversion from the real issues instead of focusing on the issues. And we're going to have different opinions on how to use agriculture to develop the country. But at the same time, we both should want agriculture to use agriculture to develop the country. And we should want the country to be a better place, and having relationships that can stand difference of opinions, differences in relationship, it all helps. So, Henry, I appreciate your, how should I say it, communication to our people. That is okay for us to have different viewpoints. Once we understand that we have a common goal together, that we can work together. And that kind of talks about the whole thing about we got more in common than we are different. Everybody would have be on the same page, but let's see how we can all work together as a people to make things better. Yes, we understand there will be some people who will undermine our purpose. And when undermine our purpose, that's what democracy is about. We get on one side and vote against that position and move the country forward. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you very, very much. And so we were just, before you came in, we're discussing a whole host of issues here, everything that's wrong with our country, what can be done about it. You see, I think one of the greatest advantages we've got is that we've been messing up so badly as a country that we are all almost express on what the problems are.
Right.
You know what I mean, Isaac?
Yes.
Everybody know what the problems are. So I think because of that, knowing how to fix the problems is the thing, though. How to fix the problem, that's one. Right. Number two, having the political will to want to fix the problems, I think is even the most important of all the things that need to be done. The political will. Because you may have the brightest people around, but they may not shine because the guy who sits at the top is not interested in making those problems to go away. Don't you agree, Isaac?
I mean, but the guys at the top are the ones who will be fixing the problems, right?
Yeah, but I mean that loon guy, the loonest of them all, the guy who sits at the very, very top.
Oh, you mean
has to want the problem to be fixed?
Well, without question, a lot of things start with the head and what position the head takes, what interest the head. You see, and Larry noticed in project management, you need something called an executive champion to push a project. And most times, if you don't have that, your project can't be successful, especially a vested executive champion, not just by name, but by actions, by advocacy, and by some guidance, especially strategic guidance. That's what you need from executive champion. And when you can't have that person at that high level or very high level, so putting the effort, it's close to impossible for you to be successful, because you always find people undermining efforts and thinking differently in a group setting and not wanting to play ball, you know. And then you know, sometimes people are not necessarily on the same level, right? That they're different institutions or organizations other people will be with that you have a dependency on to ensure the success of your own organization's action. And when those people are recalcitrant, just don't care or share the same objective like you, the chances of success are very limited. And that's what happens too, in terms of us maintaining good governance, law and order, and all of those things. There have to be different institutions that work together to make those things successful. And a lot of times we don't find that. So one or two people in that silo may be good, may want to do the best things, but when their hands are tied, it's very difficult.
I think we make politics like what Lady D Williams saying over here. Politics in Liberia is so toxic, right? And because of the toxicity of the it's a tongue twister. And she's right. You know, it keeps the people oppressed. But based on what Pedro was saying, here's the good news about it. There's roughly, I think, about between 46 to 47 least developed countries out there, underdeveloped countries, right? About 1 billion people in this category. But there's been 6, and this is definitions. This is the United Nations definitions, in case you need to know where that's coming from. But there's been 6 countries that has managed to graduate from being a least developed country to hitting that middle income and trending upwards. Botswana was the first one to do it back in 1994. So there's hope for Liberia. Botswana did it. Most recently, it was Equatorial Guinea. They did it. You know, the Samoa Islands did it as well. There's hope that Liberia can do it as well. Why? Because we have the resources. But resource alone is not what will help a country develop. And this is why when we see the failure that we're seeing, is because people keep missing the big picture. They keep thinking, oh, you know, it's all about, no. It's more than just having the necessary resources. There's some other things that needs to be done. You know,
you're right, Larry. Like Liberia. Sorry for interrupting, but just a buttress, and you can continue. Liberians have this thing where we all know, right? Where we all say the country rich, the country that rich country. Right. Why would they? And you know that they always say that. So just to put your point, they think that because we're endowed with bauxite, iron ore, gold, diamond, timber, so we are supposed to live good lives. No, when you don't have the right people in power, those resources can be a curse, actually.
Yeah. Yes. And you have people embedded, entrenched in the system. Look at this whole thing with the BVAC, right? There are people entrenched in there seeking their own self-interest, not thinking of the bigger picture to help the people as a whole. You start increasing fees at the port. You're not looking at the bigger picture. But we have the resource. Hong Kong is just a bunch of rocks and hills. Hong Kong doesn't have the resources Liberia has. Look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong is doing extremely well. Right. Look at Singapore.
You don't need resources to be a developed country. Even Taiwan has nothing.
Taiwan. The three
has absolutely nothing as well.
No, they were highly corrupt. Taiwan,
Singapore,
Hong Kong.
A rice paddy, a big giant rice paddy. That's what Singapore was.
But what those guys managed to do is something that people like George Famula have been discussing. Isaac Tukpa, Henry Costa. These guys have been discussing it. There's that key ingredient that has been missing. And this is why we need to have this change. Let people who have the technical know-how in Liberia, outside of Liberia, come together and take a look at that bigger picture and solve it. Because like I said, there were 6 countries who were in that category, you know, of the 1 billion poor nations. And those 6 countries managed to move out of it. Botswana, 1994. Vanuatu did it back in 2020, even in the middle of COVID. I got Henry killing gnats over there.
I don't know where to come from.
Vanuatu did that in 2020. You know, so there's hope for Liberia, you know.
I mean, there is hope. And the good thing about our country, Larry, we are sitting down on a significant influx of money if the environment was right. I mean, you would not believe the number of people that have reached out to me who I don't even know are professional and want to be back in Liberia, or at least go to Liberia on a regular basis. But they cannot do so in this kind of environment we are in today. And those are people who can hire 3, 4 to 5 persons, Larry. Larry, if you go to Liberia right now, how many persons you think, if you were to stay full-time, that you think you will hire?
Oh, let's say you hire 50 people, 100 people. The great thing about it, if you're hiring people in Liberia on the ground, the great thing about it, using the Keynesian formula, those people, when they earn their money, they will go to the market and buy something. The people in the market would then go ahead and get, their bitter or their peppers, and the money stays in Liberia, and it creates jobs. Exactly, it creates jobs. But we have this thing right now where we're importing everything, and the money is leaving the country. That's why the balance of payments is upside down.
Importing the low-level labor.
That's bad.
Very bad. Very bad. Where we let people look at our people and say, "Oh, the all Liberian not even qualified for the cashier job. You're not all qualified for the monitor job. Let's go get people from Sri Lanka or India or wherever and bring them in."
But who sells the work permits to them for $1,000 a piece? The Ministry of Labor.
That is the same person on the top, not the top, but on the top who allows that to happen.
Yeah.
So until we can have people on the top who can look at those things and see it and know it, or the friends can tell them, "Oh, so now you're sitting down here and we are letting foreigners take jobs from Liberian," until that mindset can set in, that we are committed to ensuring that our people get jobs, that they are able to, benefit themselves. It will always be that way. So, the thing has changed. We have to find those patriots, those committed Liberians who want to make a difference, to come and work hard, because it will take a lot. We're a small country. We can quickly rebound if we are committed to change, but we got to change mindsets, and we got to have people in place who will want to do the work.
But to rebound, you need a critical mass of people. We have the labor, the manpower. We need a critical mass of technical people. So what that means, we need to invest more in education. We need to invest a lot of money in education. Train the young people. If you bring in somebody from overseas with the technical know-how, let them go and train the young people. They shouldn't go and sit in a job in a ministry for 4, 5, 6 years. No, maybe after 24 months, you have trained your successor, somebody in the country, and bring them up and create that flow. We never sat in a job for more than a year or so, or working on the same process for more than a year or so on the investment banking side. We always would do a project, train somebody else, and let that other person come behind us. Train the people in the country. Don't let the young people there just, have so much free time and not creating something towards the development of the country. Put a lot of money in education. Give them the opportunity to start a business. Government does not create a job. It's the private sector that will create it.
Right. Government just create the environment for that private sector to thrive. And
put money in education.
Skills transfer, you say, is very important.
We run a rent-seeking state. When I read this book by Greg Mills. We
are rentier nation.
Yeah,
but break down rent seeking before people think that's also landlord.
I will break it down. But before I'll just I keep making a full appreciation of that description, rent seeking state, when I read the book by Greg Mills, a South African writer, entitled "Why Africa is Poor and What Africans Can Do About It." It's a wonderful book. He went to Liberia. So a rent-seeking state essentially is a country where its officials make it their business to engage in an incestuous relationship with business people and investors and quote-unquote investors, and to benefit themselves as opposed to growing and promoting the interests of the country, general prosperity. So they collect money here and there, they take bribes, they do that. So that's what we do. We run a rent-seeking state. They seek rent. They are the landlords, the officials of the government. So, like Isaac was saying, don't think I mean that the country that land the renting, but essentially they everybody renting from them. The business renting
the resources.
The resources they are renting the resources. So
that's what all those concession agreements.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. So that's what we are, a rent-seeking state. And no rent-seeking state succeeds, because the mindset is not to create or engender general prosperity, sustainable growth and development, developing the people's talent, the skills, it is only for the people in power to be okay. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're only okay for a while. And you know the reason why they're only okay for a while? Because they don't build a sustainable, viable economy that they can flourish in after they leave office.
Yeah.
And we see
So
that
by the time they leave,
former government officials.
yeah, by the time they leave, they all get poor.
Very poor.
But the billion people in these least developed countries, a lot of those countries are rentier nations. You know, they do all the concession agreement, and it's so hard to change that mindset, because once you have rent coming in, you would just think, oh, I don't need to do anything else. You don't have to be accountable to the people because you have rent coming in. But eventually, you're going to run out of those resources. No resource in any country lasts forever, right?
No,
because look at Nigeria.
They are finite.
Look at Nigeria. They're going to run out. You can't be selling your sand, your gravel, selling your rubber, timber, cutting trees down. Not only are you going to have issues later on with the environment, but that's going to come back to bite you. But look at Nigeria. Look at Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea graduated from being a least developed country, but look how corrupt it is. Look at the vice president. We talked about it the other day.
The president's son, yeah, Obiang.
He was sanctioned by the UK. The United Kingdom is now on this whole sanctions business. They're sanctioning government officials. Vice president of another country is on a sanctions list at the United Kingdom.
Yeah, he had a fleet of luxury cars in France. They sold off for, I think, $4 or $5 million.
But he has been in trouble with the international community for a while. But
the guy is a pariah.
He doesn't care. He can use the resources of his country as he wills, because he's like heir apparent, you know.
But guys, why do some parents spoil their kids like that? This boy, Teddy Obiang, I follow him on Instagram. The guy leads a lavish lifestyle.
Very
extremely.
This guy bought a Malibu mansion. He used to live in California for a while. He actually went to school there. I think in San Diego or somewhere there. This guy bought a $35 million mansion in Malibu, in California, and had cars worth millions of dollars. So the Justice Department investigated him, and they found out that whatever he was being paid was not enough to justify his earning. Unexplained wealth. The U.S. government went and confiscated all his assets, liquidated them, and they said they were going to use the proceeds for the benefit of the people of Equatorial Guinea. He didn't stop there. He went to France too. He had Bugattis, Lamborghinis, Ferraris.
Well, he used to come out early in the morning and would start at least 3 of those Ferraris. Those cars, the exhaust is so loud. People, it would wake up the entire neighborhood. He would start different cars. Then he would come outside and decide which one he wants. And the friends put a stop to that nonsense.
You know whose role model he is, right?
Who's that?
Raul Salif. Raul Salif want to be like the guy.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah. Obiang, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but Obiang steals on a level way much better than Raul.
He owns all the resources in our country, because
I tell you, and his father indulges him.
You ask that question about parents and children. You see, children are the real truth tellers.
I will never take that nonsense from my son Pedro.
No, but you're doing the same thing. So your son will take it to another level. The next generation should be better than the current generation. And that's what he's trying to do. He's being better than his father in the corruption of the state. And that's what his father did too, you know. But that country is very rich. Again, they're practicalizing the wealth, but hopefully they can benefit the people, but it has not been benefiting the people.
Do you know a lot of them are Liberians?
Equatorial Guinea?
Crisis. Yes, Equatorial Guinea used to be called Fanado.
Okay,
this is where Charles D.B. King used to send Liberian workers, migrant workers, mostly crew and grill people. They used to ship them off there. He signed a deal with the Spanish people because it was a Spanish island where they grew bananas and Spanish plantation. So they used to ship off Liberians there. And it led to the Fanado Poor crisis because the League of Nations sent a delegation to Liberia called the Christie Commission.
Right.
Herbert Christie was a professor at Fisk University. He headed the delegation to investigate whether they were engaged in forced labor and slavery and all that kind of stuff. And they found out that yes, Charles D.B. King was exporting people under harsh conditions, quasi-servitude conditions, to work these plantations in Fanado Pool. And many of them stayed there. There are a lot of Kru and Gribble people in Fanado Pool, which is today called Equatorial Guinea. Many of them are our cousins.
Yeah, family.
Yeah. So they left Liberia with a hardship. And that was the reason why Charles D.B. King, one of the reasons why Charles D.B. King resigned.
Yeah.
In 1930.
Just pressure.
Yeah, I think December 2nd or December 3rd, 1930, Charles D.B. King resigned. Because they forced him, they asked him out of office because of that. And then Barkley was his Secretary of State and he came to power. Yep.
So let's take a long look at Henry's story. Are you trying to tell us that Liberians now went to Equatorial Guinea and screw up that country?
Well, it's possible they screw up the country. It's possible they screw up the country because it's a tiny island country.
And it's got oil.
Yes, many people there are there. It's a small, and you know, Larry, guys, I don't understand it. A country that rich, I mean, the oil the buggers got, my man, and they pull ahead. So when I look at Liberia, I look at there, I say, boy, look at all we got seen. How
long the president been in power? He's one of the longest, probably the second or third longest serving presidents in Africa.
Obiang, yes.
Yeah.
Teodoro Ngwema Obiang. He assassinated his uncle to come to power.
I think about in the late 70s or so. He's been in power for a very long time.
He's been in power since the early 70s or so.
Yeah.
For 40-something years. His son was loving to this girl from the reality show star Portia. From the show, the reality show called The Housewives of Atlanta or something like that. Yep. And he bought her for her birthday, he bought her a $500,000 Rolls Royce Phantom, and for $500,000. And she was on TV talking about how her boyfriend is an African prince. Not knowing that Sanama Swan is a nasty rule African prince, my foot.
And is it true he bought the gloves that Michael Jackson wore?
He did. Yes, those crystal laced gloves that Michael Jackson did the Bad album in. And he bought it for $250,000 in memorability. It's to beat Michael Jackson fame. Yeah. But the State Department sold that off as well. I mean, the Justice Department, they sold it off. He's a terrible guy. I mean, this guy, one day the guy threw a party in South Africa, my man. The party cost the guy $300,000 for one party. They got ordered champagnes from Champagne in France. You know, Champagne is named after the place in which it was originated. He ordered a champagne from Champagne in France. He brought chefs from France. He ordered a cheese. The ordered a cheese from Switzerland.
That's how extremely rich people can do.
And he said he's been in power since 1974.
My son bucked if you try that nonsense.
Little Pedro, we hope you'll be more socially conscious than that, you know?
My man, you can't live like that, my man. With the people's money.
So
and then the overthrow. You know, there was a coup attempt that Margaret Thatcher's son, former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, her son was involved in a coup to overthrow the guy. They caught them. Yeah. Margaret Thatcher's son, ex-military guard. He's a mercenary. You pay him, he'll come and organize a coup d'etat for you. Did you guys know that?
No, they didn't.
I did not know that.
They didn't kill him.
No,
this is in Equatorial Guinea. This is in Equatorial Guinea.
But you know what they caught him? They caught him in Zimbabwe. He was on his way to Equatorial Guinea. That way they were getting a lot of mercenaries from Zimbabwe. That way the Zimbabwean government snitched on him.
But Andy Williams is saying this guy's been in power since 1974. That's a long time. That's a long time. I thought it was the 70s. That's a very long time.
Man, They've married at 47 years now. Wow.
Almost half a century. Who goes to the power of being power for half a century?
Wow.
Is Paul Biya of Cameroon still in power, right?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Paul
What
Biya
is he
has
like?
been in power longer than he is, I think. Paul
What
Biya,
is he like? 110? The guy needs.
I think more or less 120.
Again, that's the
He's a
situation
dinosaur.
where the person is probably not capable, but the people around him maintain him in that position for their own edification. You know, so that's why leadership. Nobody wants to discriminate against age, but
I remember Rufus Berry. Oh, Rufus, an interesting guy. Rufus said, Costa, that's exactly what I did for my 50th birthday. I ordered my palm wine from the city called Palm Wine on the Baza Highway. Rufus, you're crazy, brother.
Let me like that comment right away.
Yeah, I love that. I love that comment.
Okay,
I'm gonna highlight it right here.
you read the story that man wrote? You read the story that man wrote the other day?
Rufus.
The American football game that the people from CFA and ACS played the memorable game.
No, I didn't read it.
Not an imaginary game. I got it.
Rufus like, oh, yeah.
And people swallow that thing, they were believing it. Boy, through that man.
Yeah, man. I don't know why people live like that. Look at the Sultan of Brunei.
Brunei.
The Sultan of Brunei is worth about 25, 30 billion dollars, right? He flies in his barber from the UK.
Yes.
He pays his barber for every single haircut. He pays the guy about 50 grand. He flies the guy first class. Now, during the COVID crisis, because the Sultan is so afraid of COVID, he actually flies the guy on a private jet. He flies the barber.
I mean, just imagine when you go back to London and tell your man in the flat, man, I went to Saudi Arabia to cut one haircut.
In a private jet.
Yeah. So, and why does it like the way the man cuts his hair? When I see the man hair, I will show the man picture. Let me send the man picture. You see the hair go away and fly the man.
He went to college in London, and I was the person who used to cut his hair. And people
No. One day he went to the UK and he needed a haircut. And his barber was not around. So then when they brought this guy, the guy cut his hair. Since that day, he said, just like the way the guy cuts his hair.
Wow.
See? Yeah. So he flies the guy in. Before COVID, the guy used to fly commercial, first class. When the guy will come cut his hair, every time the guy goes back, that's 50 grand. But now, because of COVID, and he's afraid to catch COVID, so he puts the guy on a charter flight. I will show you the picture of the haircut the man can do. I can cut that hair. Right.
Tom Sherman saying you're giving weird new ideas.
Oh yeah, I tell you, we are going to bring Baba from Ghana.
Bring somebody and not pay them, then a different trouble looking for our country.
We are trying to be small noise behind here.
But look at the haircut.
Yeah, what's up?
What are the steps to develop it? I know, we're having a little bit of fun here, but I think the people want, because Heron started teasing them, about everybody talking about the problems and not offering the real solutions. So, Larry, you are president today. What are the top 10 steps to developing your country that you actually pursue?
That's a good question.
And let me say this to make sure that it is loud and clear and is clearly understood. Those 10 steps are actually written in a binder that when I meet up with JNB, I will hand it over to him.
First of all, let me say congratulations to people like Isaac and people like Larry for at least openly supporting JMB on the show. A lot of comments. People are saying that they want to appreciate you for joining the Unity Party. But now my question to you is
not joining the Unity Party, supporting
JMB.
It's
not
a distinction. There's a distinction.
If JMB calls on you to at least have a position in the United Party, like the
but man, not joining the party, black guy.
I understand, Costa, but now I'm asking if the woman call him now, The way he's supporting the old man. Now the old man call him and say, okay, I want you to join the Unity Party and serve in this position as Brother Isaac is now serving as a CSO in ANC. TOS. In the ANC. Are you willing?
No, I won't. I simply would offer advice. I would simply bring in some technocrats, but I won't be able to do it because I don't have the time. I just don't have the time right now. But I will offer advice. I would help put together policy statements. I would bring investors. I would bring people who would support what GMB is trying to do. There's a lot of things I'll bring to the table on the technical side. My company develop apps. We develop websites. We develop software. And at one time, I even did the robot dialing system for the late Charles Brumskin. Actually, did a robot dialing system that Brumskin was supposed to use. But yeah, I'm not a politician, and I wouldn't be good in that role. I leave that for the isotopes of the world.
Keep it that way. Everybody can be a politician.
Yeah, I leave it to the isotopes of the world.
You may not be a declared politician, but you are a politician. So
I'm not a politician.
Yes, you are. We can all argue that you are.
The man is more on the technocratic side. On the technocratic side,
his services will just be available over there. Right now, he's a politician. So whether you're lucky or not, Larry, you're a politician.
Nah.
And by the way, today is JMB's wife's birthday.
Oh,
Madam Christine, she and I share the same birthday. And JMB's daughter-in-law's birthday. Yabo Wakai. Today's her birthday as well.
The August people plenty out there.
Yeah, so he got 2 August 6 in his family. Yeah,
our man, the late Chucky Charles Johnson.
Yeah, what? August 3rd, eh?
August 3rd.
So Larry, I guess now your discussion will be very limited, right? Everything will be in binary to boycott, right? You'll not be providing.
No, there's a clear path to redeveloping Liberia, and it's not so much on the technical side. It has to do with some other underlying things that needs to be dealt with. One time I handed a paper reconceptualizing, rethinking, redesigning how to create jobs in Liberia, mainly in the construction sector. In order to do that, Liberia needs to build its credit reporting system. Liberia doesn't have good credit rating. Well, let me say not good credit rating. Liberia has no credit rating whatsoever. So they can't raise capital between Dun and Bradstreet, Fitch Investor Services, and Moody's. Liberia doesn't have any credit rating. They need
that's two different things, though, right? Developing a credit rating out there and developing your own internal credit system where you attach value to assets and you are able to track those things and people's own credit history. That's a little separate.
But you need credit rating in order to raise money in the international market. You can't keep running to the IMF and keep borrowing. You can't keep. You need to raise money through the capital markets. Ghana was able to raise almost 94 million.
But I really want to get the numbers on the bond issue that we've been selling out there recently. I mean, I think I heard something from Twitter. It was doing pretty well and helping. Where are we?
Hey, your networking now.
Any government issues on bonds recently with not 25? 25? Yeah, I think 25% interest.
The government has been issuing. They were. So I remember they issue some. Yeah, they did issue some bonds, but I don't believe it actually sold a lot. And they tried to benchmark the bonds against inflation. So in the U.S., we have something called TIPS, TIPS, Treasury Inflationary Protected Securities. Those securities actually will make sure that your initial investment is not lost because of high inflation. So like you were trying to do something like that, try to measure it against inflation. But I don't believe that there was a lot of people subscribing to that. I don't believe it worked at all. I haven't seen the numbers, but just based on how they're operating, I don't believe it's actually worked. In fact, the IMF told them they need to put together, they need to explain how much it's costing the Liberian government to issue these securities.
Yeah, because there's transaction costs to those things.
It's transaction costs, but remember, you're only borrowing money on a short-term basis because a I don't want to get too much into this finance stuff, but the government, when it issued these bonds, it's what we call a repurchase agreement, right? So I will come to you, Isaac Tukpa, I said, look, Isaac, let me borrow 10,000 from you. I'm the government. Let me borrow 10,000 from you. I will hold on to it for maybe 30 days. At the end of 30 days, I will give you your 10,000 plus interest.
Right.
You think the Liberia government has enough money to be paying all those interest?
Forget about money. They don't have the ability to turn that money over.
Exactly. So, but we can set aside a day where we can discuss that stuff.
So we can.
Okay. Well, let's go to the phone lines and take some calls.
All right, 0770.
How are they gonna pay that kind of interest? It's too good to be true. It's too high.
They can't afford it.
770-102-102-86.
Sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
555-102-102. The WhatsApp number is +231 886-24171. Ava, you read a post on from your man Samuel Tue when they give you your position?
Yeah, Ava, how do you respond to Tue? Please tell us.
But Tue cannot own his own alter ego, right? If a man can be a coward, if posture as a woman, Priska Paul, right? And Priska Paul will be a female. It just shows you what he is. I mean, I can't argue. Tue is no better than that. Tue is trying to satisfy. Maybe he's trying to satisfy we are, but you gotta say, my man, enjoy yourself. But I really believe people can say anything they want to say. At the end of the day, it's what you do that you control. I can't control anybody saying negative things about me, especially pastoral things that have no basis of truth. I can't go even respond to that kind of thing or argue against it. It's just so way out there. And then if somebody is useless and have no value, why you waste your time to even write a post about them? What did I tell you?
A hell of a long post too.
A hell of a long post. You're not doing the people's work.
Well, you see, it's not a problem. Rather than discuss the issues, they start discussing personalities. They start attacking personalities.
Yes, yeah, that's what they go to.
And this is the Minister of Finance of a very ailing economy. Mm-hmm. He has time on his hands to be posting on Facebook all day.
Buried under work, looking for what to turn this country around, or trying to find people who can help him turn the country around. But that's not a major concern. He can get his money at the top. So why the other people don't get theirs,
Yeah, he needs to tell us why and we said this before you came on the show, Ivan. He needs to tell us why the gross national income of the country is so low. It has fallen to 2007 levels. That's why he needs to be answering rather than attacking, and Isaac took out there because Isaac decided on his own that he wanted to support Cummings. That's not a reason to attack someone.
And that's why I don't understand, though, like, how does that affect government Liberia, affect what he's doing and stuff that somebody has taken a personal decision to be involved with a different political situation, So I wonder what he's really doing towards changing, like answering some of the questions like you asking, probably gross national income. But they're reveling in the whole thing about inflation, in a very depressed economy with no demand. They're excited that inflation is, where it's at. But
be careful when they start talking inflation because there are two types, and they're using inflation from one data to discuss inflation from another one.
Yeah.
So, they will never tell you which one they're discussing, whether it's headline inflation or core inflation. But they would say, hey, inflation was over here, but now it's here. They may be using the numbers from headline and then using the number from core. So, they need to tell us the source.
Larry, have there been any recent study on the part of the government of Liberia, whether it's the core welfare indicators, whether it's some of these human studies or anything like that? I haven't seen anything from Lisgis recently.
No, I remember Lisgis complained at one time saying that they didn't have enough money to do the statistical work that they needed to do. So they had to turn some of that effort over to the Ministry of Finance. That's why the Ministry of Finance is actually supporting. And please, again, go look at the CBL website. When you look at the CBL website, they're telling you that the information they're receiving that should be coming from ListGist is coming from the Ministry of Finance. So ListGist is not being properly funded, and ListGist needs to be funded. How are you going to make decisions if you don't have data, if you don't have information? How are you going to make decisions? Give a lot of money to ListGist. Let them do their thing. You know, those guys that study statistics, they're mathematicians. Give the money to them.
And they got some smart guys over there, though. They got some smart people, you know, who's working at ListGist who can really do some of these studies and get out in the field to collect the data. But that's it.
Yeah.
When you can't collect the data, you got to make up, you know, dummy numbers.
And that's why Jethro Kohler is asking. He said, what do we make of TWE's recent prediction about the economy growing? And they're predicting it's going to grow by 3.6% by the end of this year. You believe that?
Well, how? I mean,
The growth rate.
what's happening in the economy for us to see there's some growth? Where's the growth coming from?
Maybe they were counting on the fees that they were going to impose over at the port, but that fee has been rescinded. The economy is not going to grow.
But that doesn't cause growth, does it? It's growth.
In their mind, that's where they see growth coming from increasing fees on the poor people.
So how did they do the recall? Did they issue another memo?
No, they met with the business people and they said they're gonna rescind it. Yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, they announced it yesterday. Yep. Thank you so much, folks.
That's pro
we're
poor.
gonna be Waga, we still have to take some calls before we go.
Yeah. I'll take somebody on this line. Good morning.
Good morning, Henry. Good morning to the birthday man, Henry Pedro Costa. This is Mr. Joseph Tamba Jackson, the former chairman of CDC USA. I'm called this morning to wish Henry Costa a happy birthday, and also to give Henry Costa a big birthday gift. I will be calling you after the show later on today. I just want to officially today declare my support for the COP on your birthday. And today, I am an official member of the COP. I will be calling you after the show so we can talk on other political issues to see how we can help our Liberian people comes 2023. My main focus here while I'm in Liberia, Mr. Costa will make sure that come 2023, you are elected as senator so you can help Darius DeLon in the Senate. So this is the birthday gift that I have for you. And I also want to say thank you to my mentor, Mr. Tuba, for accepting that position with Mr. Alexander Comey as the chief of staff. And I just heard Larry, again, another gentleman that I love, always want to be around him, always want to talk to him, for making that pronouncement this morning to support GMB. I'm holding my support yet. I've stayed in consultation with a lot of political leaders and other political parties. But after my conversation with Henry Costa, I will come up with a very big decision as to where I will be leaning. So again, Henry Costa, I want to declare this morning that I am a COP member. I will talk to you so I can regularize my membership and see who I need to contact and be able to fill my membership form. Thank you very much for taking my call this morning. God bless you, Henry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Baga, you have to hold on that before you take another call. That's a big pronouncement coming from
Brother Joe Jackson.
Yeah. Joe Jackson.
Yeah, of course. Let me just Charles conclude because you're already on the line. Charlie.
Okay.
Good morning, boy guy. Let us say happy birthday to my brother and friend Henry Costa. And I call him the first respondent, my own first respondent. And, you know, Today I'm a happy person. Not a happy person. I don't know what it's just a coincidence. But I call on this platform on the $2 big to join the CPP, wherever way to join. And I was excited happy when other people were not COX, the Cummings. I was being 5% happier in your join to my party, but I never opened the door. They are people of knowledge, they more experienced than me, and so go anyway. But the fact that the two of them have agreed, I feel as an achievement for me. Now in our bureau, there are many ways you appreciate people, by white collar, white chicken, goat, gun, and cow. So it depends on your capacity. If my capacity can enable me to kill a white chicken for two of them each. So everyone in our bureau, anytime I see them in our bureau, I owe them chicken, white, one rooster each. I let them say, I appreciate them. Yes, it's for all of us. To deliver the country, it gotta be delivery action. And some of the delivery action is we going through about going with hunger and going on wrinkle belly, begging for data to engage the government. And it is high, but we prepare to bear it.
Okay.
So for the fact that it's going on, I just appreciate I see how a big achievement. We need to do it better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles Robert.
Thank you so much. Now let me speak to Mr. Joe Jackson. Mr. Jackson is he's a good man. He's a patriot. He's a former CDC stalwart. Isaac, was he your immediate successor after you left as chairman of the CDC USA?
No, he succeeded Atta Zagama. Atta Zagama was my immediate successor.
Okay,
But
good.
Joe worked with me. Joe was my vice chairman for operations.
Very good. So yes, so Mr. Jackson, what you've done, I am deeply, deeply humbled and honored. That's what I want to tell you. I'm very honored and I'm flattered that you would choose to make such a big pronouncement on my birthday. I'm very, very humbled by that. And we welcome you with an open embrace in the COP. I'm going to break the news to the rest of the folks. I will make an official announcement on Facebook and we will invite you to join the chat room. And we look forward to tapping into your knowledge and skills and your leadership abilities and your experience as former chairman of CDC USA. You know, let me tell you something. There was a moment that I came to really respect Mr. Jackson. And I've never said this, and I will say it today. You remember when George Weah came to the States and they had this program? I think it was at the first UN General Assembly. They had this program in, and Larry was in New York that time. And they had this program.
Go ahead, tell them what we're doing there.
They had it, yeah, of course. I mean, I will tell them the role we play. Well, George Weah came to the stage in 2018, September. Larry, myself, and our man Jones, George Weah, they had a serious issue. They had no contacts here in the States. Nobody took them seriously. Nobody really. And so they wanted to get a plug-in. So Larry, Miguel asked me, my man, do you know people who can help us get connected to the White House? We want to get connected to Trump. I said, sure. I will speak to my man Larry. I spoke to Larry, and then Larry set up the call. We spoke to our man Jones. They said, yeah, we can get Giuliani to help. Miguel said, what? Giuliani? You mean Donald Trump lawyer, the former mayor of New York? Yeah, my man, we can get Giuliani. Miguel could not believe it. On very short notice, working with our man Jake Mangas, we managed to get Giuliani, America's mayor. Well, before he became this notorious guy that he now is. We got America's mayor to go all the way to the New York Palace Hotel, where most of these heads of state were staying when they came for the UN General Assembly. We took Giuliani to see George Weah without a retainer agreement with Giuliani's firm to lobby. We went to the meeting. We sat in a meeting. Larry, myself, Jones, Giuliani, Jake Mangas, Eugene Nangbe, Trokonkwi, and George Weah. My man,
And
George
the
Weah.
FBI agent. Yeah, it was an FBI agent with us.
There was an FBI agent also. Exactly. We posted the pictures, of course. I got a picture with Giuliani and everything. Oh, Joey was excited. Then they said they wanted Larry and Jones and Jake Menges to go to Liberia to meet Joey. Joey extended the invitation. My man, I all the story there, but I ain't want to go there. Look at this you. So basically, going back to that same time, I think that was when Joe Jackson was chairman of CDC USA then. Isaac, wasn't the time he was?
Yes, he had to be since our president. Yeah, Joe Jackson was the chairman at the time.
Good. So we had a program in the lobby somewhere, in a hotel. And all the CDC people came there, mostly CDC people. Joe Jackson mounted the podium to speak. And he spoke truth to power to George Weah publicly. I watched the thing live. Joe Jackson told George Weah that, he said, me, I don't want a job. But hey, we need better he talked things about better communication with the CDC diaspora. He talked a lot of good things to George Weah. And that's not something a lot of people would say. And George Weah cut him off. Yeah, George Weah didn't like the things Joe was saying. When he came to speak, he was not pleasant to Joe Jackson at all, because he didn't like how Joe Jackson spoke the truth to him in that hall. And I came to respect Joe Jackson for that day. I watched that thing, I will never forget. I said, what? This is a CDC telling Joe Weah, this is the chairman of CDC USA? Joe Weah,
a powerful guy.
He said, y'all got to do better. You got competent CDCs, competent people. Give them jobs. He said, for me, I don't care. And do this and do that. Better communication with the party and stuff. And Joe Weah didn't like it. When Joe Weah came to speak, he made some very sly, asinine comments to Joe Jackson in response. And I think that was Joe Jackson issue probably with Joe Weah. Let's take some more calls there.
I will reach out to Joe Jackson later on today as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure he and myself will talk today.
Oh, if there's no call, I want to share that I'm actually in Atlanta. I'll be at a meet and greet with the ANC Global Georgia chapter. So if any of your listeners in the area, I will post a flyer and they can feel free to join us. See, my cousin out here in Georgia, she calling me, 5:23 in the morning. Yeah.
That isn't cause. Nolai Kamara, good morning. Welcome to the show. Long time.
Thank you all so much. Good morning, Pedro.
Morning,
Nolai. Morning to your panelists. I just called this morning. You happy birthday. Thank you all so much. May God give you long life, prosperity. May God automatically guide you.
Nolai.
Well, is Lalai witness protection program? That was quick. The man kids said a couple of things.
That's the shortest he has ever been.
I know.
Nolai is avoiding politics. He knows when
next. The man said he don't want to talk politics. He said, "Oh, we are doing politics so badly. You won't have nothing to do with politics." But Pedro will bring Nolai back from a political sabbatical.
Nolai said, "Happy birthday!" I hung up. Witness protection program.
You know where let him get down. Uncle Mark Fire Davis, good morning and welcome. Good morning, Uncle Mark. Hello. Uncle Mark.
Apparently he can't hear you. You gotta take another caller.
Yeah, I don't know. But the phone lines are open. 0770-102-102. Let's take Bibera Thomas Ansumana. He's been trying to call, but let's see if I can get him on this line here. Okay, Bibera Thomas, good morning and welcome to the show.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are loud and clear. Welcome.
Can you hear me, Baka?
Yes, I'm getting you. I just don't know. But I take somebody from this line here. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning.
I'm getting you.
Oh, Uncle Mark, good morning. Welcome.
Yes, they're not saying. Yeah, morning, Waka, morning, Pedro, morning. Yeah, I'm hearing you. In my mistake.
Yeah, just go ahead. You are loud and clear.
Okay, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Hello. He picked them by mistake.
You are loud and clear.
Okay.
Just go ahead, Uncle Mark.
Okay, very good. Morning, Waka, morning, everybody. Iva and the crew. Pedro, I just wanted to join the family back in Monrovia and say happy birthday within the case and best wishes and birthday greetings to you. More blessed years, my brother. All the best. Enjoy your moment. Hello from Juba. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take answer. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Buckeye. Good morning, Harry. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Mr. Tupa. Happy birthday to you, Harry P. Costa. May God wish you long life and good health. I just want to commend the panelists for their brilliant ideas to the conversation. And one thing I also want to say to all Nigerians, we are doing this for the COP not because of political ambition, but because of the pandemic in the country. We want to help at least save our people. And at this time, I would like to congratulate the Maryland chapter for their little support they're giving towards the college. Also to the Sisters of Maryland organization who also chipped in to the production of the masks that recently being distributed in Nigeria. And lastly, I just want to say, we see, people are of the same mind, coming together to discuss the issue of Nigeria. And this is a good thing, but my advice would be it should be done with sincerity. I've seen these things happen. We saw it happening in Tabatek case. We saw it happening in Boca case. We saw it happening in so many people cases, okay? So we have to be very, very mindful of people who are coming up to, to declare their intention. Also, this is just my advice, to every Nigerian. The country belongs to everybody, and we should do it in good faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Bibala, for being a part of the show this morning.
Okay, let's take some more calls there, folks.
We lost Boycott.
Baga is still on, but their light going off, so I don't know what he's still. Baga, are you there? You can yell? Okay. Well, kind of strange there. If they had lost power, I'm sure the computer would have gone out.
Gone yeah.
Okay. Well, guys.
Anyway, our president did not say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. So how old are you today? 36?
30. I'm I'm 39. I'm 39 today.
Next year will be the big 40. We gotta celebrate.
Yeah, 40, my man. 40 probably. Yeah. Okay.
And doing well.
So Obama turned 60 on the 4th, and he's having this big party, and a lot of people were complaining, and that he's been a big anti-COVID and
right.
Big cautioning people to be careful and stuff like that. But he's throwing this party anyway. They're having the party this weekend. At an estate he bought out there in Maryland. In Massachusetts. Yeah, Baga, welcome back. Let's pick a few more calls there, Baga.
Okay. So the phone lines are open. Let's see if we can get Chicharito. Chicharito, you're calling, but sorry, we went off. Let me see if I can get him. But let's take somebody from this line. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
Oh, thank you, thank you. Good morning, DJ, and good morning to my music family, and good morning to my unforgettable, ever-potent leader, you, Helen Pedro Costa. Good morning, Pedro.
Morning to you, Poga.
Oh, thank you, leader, for your consistency, your persistency. And we say thanks to PJ also for your hard work doing. To the issue. PJ,
Hey, Poka, I know what happened you. I know your money fee. Poka, the uncle, the ever living Poka. Hey, Poka. Yeah, so we still take some more calls. Let's take this person here. Good morning.
yeah, good morning, brother.
Yeah, your name are you calling from?
Good morning, Pedro. This is William.
Welcome,
Good morning
William.
to you, William. William, here for.
Yeah, Pedro, I just want to say happy birthday to you. I wish you many more years to come. I wish that God give you whatever you desire on earth, and whatever is your good, I God grant it unto you on your birthday. Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you so much. And my birthday will be on Sunday. So you see, me and Costa will get back to back.
Happy birthday there, boy, Kamara.
Yeah. Let's take this person here. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kamara, as well as the crew. Good morning, Henry. I called this morning to say happy birthday, and I wish you many more years to come. My name is Reagan, calling from Woodbridge, Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Boga, we'll take about 5 more calls and then we'll call it a day today. It's a kind of slow day today.
Good morning, Boga.
Because the birthday overshadowed everything.
Good morning to the panelists, and good morning to Henry Pedro Costa. I'd like to say happy birthday. This is DJ Lumet from Corway this morning. My man, I got my speaker outside. You know, the people, Larry and my brother in studio. I'd like to say thank you this morning. You know, government, any good government or any good leader will listen to his people. The kind of suggestion that I put up this morning, if President William was a serious leader or a good man, he will listen to you. At the end of the day, the credit will go to him. Because when it happened, we say, who regime this thing happen? It's not that because the opposition or somebody saying it. Those of you that are saying this, you love this man and love our country. But President William said, does he even love himself before the country? So you see the kind of thing, you will put up all the good suggestions. You will never take it and say, where they will put it, that the put will go. And he said to know that Larry is not the president of Liberia, Costa is not the president of Liberia, New York Buckeye. But at the end of the day, we will win. They will say, on the president, we are reaching this SY and Z happy. And we cannot go away. But the man has destroyed, he has destroyed everything, so he don't have time. You know, he's taking command from the Belfast devil. So at the end of the day, like when people suffer and he and his family will police, join police together, enjoy. But all I know, all in all, they will pay for everything that they have done to this country and they continue to do to this country.
Okay.
Larry and Eric, I say thank you this morning and let God continue to bless your Henry Pedro Costa. I wish you well, celebrate your birthday with joy and enjoy in the Lord. Thank you this morning for having me on podcast.
Thank you so much.
Henry, that guy said something very critical, and that's why I want to share this, right? Mr. Cummings was telling me, he said, about in terms of performance and doing what you can, right? He said at the end of the day, as a leader, you got to accept input from people, especially good input, and try to implement them. He said, no insult to you, Ava. For 20 years from now, if I become president, I'm a good president. They will not remember that you helped me, that you're chief of staff. They remember the president. So that's why leaders should always try to take the best ideas and work with it, because it's their legacy. It's you who will be remembered at the end of the day. How many people know who was Joseph Jenkins Rao vice president? Nobody.
No.
You remember the head, the president.
How many people remember Abraham Lincoln's people? How many people remember Franklin Roosevelt's people? They don't care.
No. When history comes, it's the person who's at the top, the head, that the story will be recounted about under his administration, under Joey administration. And what do we say? Probably the worst and most corrupt administration in Liberia ever.
DJ Lamel is right.
Yes, you know? Smart guy.
Okay, let's take some calls there. Let's take the youth chair of the COP. Good morning, Mohammed. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Bokai, and good morning to Leader Aaron Pedro Costa. Good morning to Larry and Isaac Tupa. I thank you for leader. Thank God we have a listening person who has played a major role in some of our lives. Then we join the advocacy. Leader Aaron Costa Bendel are committed to us. He has guided us financially. He has supported us. During my marriage, he generated about $1,350 United States dollars for me. And apart from that, he's a man who listens. He's a man who don't look at tribe. He don't look at religion. As he speak about it on the show, most often he go by that. The only thing you look at the potentiality in you and the character in you. When we get upon that, on a faithful day, I pledge my loyalty to Costa throughout my political life until I will make sure that you become future president of this country. Because we know what you stand for. We know what you have been doing to emancipate our people. And the only way you can achieve your vision, you should be the leader or the vision bearer to lead your own vision. Nobody can interpret, nobody can carry your own vision better than you yourself. So here much that you are alive, here much that we pray, we fast, and we pray for you day by day. Every time I pray, I ask Allah to give you long life, to make you to achieve your political life, life, to make you successful, to make you somebody who will take like black people from this dungeon of poverty. Because our people are suffering. For me, I suppose JMB 2023. But my main focus is to make president to be in the future. And my main focus is thank you, Lord, God bless you, and save our state. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Corner.
Okay.
Thanks.
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Lolai Kamara, you're calling back.
Oh, Lolai call back?
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. I want to say this today. You know, Baka, Pedro, you know, I've been silent for a while, you know, politically. You know, when certain disappointment comes into your life, don't just come and, you know, you can just keep it. And, you know, what God distinct for some people that what you get, and, you know, you can't just, you know, talking for people to be understanding your part. People been calling me, man, why you been silent? You silent these days. You know, I know my reason of being silent. You know, because it's a total embarrassment for me. You know, Pedro, I get 5 living children, living with me, are taking their responsibility. They're going to school.
Hey, Nolai, let me call you back, please. Let me call you.
Call Lolai back, and please don't laugh, walk out when he explains, because you see, Lolai is hurt. Lolai is a genuine person. You know, he genuinely loved George Weah and supported him.
Yeah, because he's back on the line.
Okay.
Nolai, continue. Nobody stop.
Okay, I get 5 living children with me that going to school are taking their responsibility. Although we started a struggle together, we and those people came join this party, and you know, they just came join, they just get, you know, everything is not just about job, because CDC Benin team, somehow were working, and somehow it affected our jobs. Because I can recall 2011 when we were campaigning that day, after I was serving as supervisor to Cali Junction, Duncan Incorporated. You know, one time Obama came, he was distributing t-shirts. He met him, he distributed t-shirt. You know, I can't just left there. The bosses then left. I left the gas station that day, you know, when I went to the party, because from there to the party, it was not too far. You know, it was just in our DNA to support this party. You know, we left that day. I used to get money. That about money. But it was there in my DNA. So my boss back in that day, he shot it for 1 minute here. The beginning said, oh, the men are going to their party. Can you imagine? They may call me awfully, making me want me. He said, my man, if you take between a CDC Benin and your job, and you see, if you want to go to CDC, go there. If you want to leave the job, leave the job. So we've been taking a lot of bullets for this party. Because you say you can remember 2017, what we did from 2011, 2017, and you understand it. but not a day. One person will come and say, oh, I give my little struggle with them. One person will come and say, oh, my man, no lie, my man, what's up, my man? How's it? You know, I just looking at them, you know, maybe some of them are listening to this, you know, to say, oh, my man, you know, but undisclosed person that I will not call the person actually, he been doing it for me, he been calling me, but that's not about money and things, but it's about, you know, empowerment. It's about, you know, making some of our pride and more our friends. Because some of our people coming around telling us, my man, you're the one for any problem, man. Your way, my man, you're the one for any bad. It's a bullying to me. And you understand it? So some of them now they empower them. Some of them are not my man, they struggle. We all in a struggle together, my man. That's so my man. Your children school fee and fee. Yes, my children they going to school. Not a day. My children now go on a scholarship. I've been paying physical cash videos up to this time. And you understand it? But Pedro, you know, I will not sit down here on this platform to say, because of the one I resign from CDC because of this. But I will just, you know, I just want to test one or two things and go back in my closet and take my sabbatical. Thank you ever so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Because there's no question for him, right?
No. I don't need a battle law like your questions.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Lolai didn't even have to do what he just did. Guys, Isaac, Larry, Lolai Kamara was the only sedition when he was actively and fervently and religiously supporting the CDC. He used to call into this show. He was the only person who didn't give up. No matter what you said to the guy would still call and defend his government, his party, his president. But to see Lolai politically whittled away and has lost that fervent appetite and that belief, that commitment to CDC, what does it tell you, guys? What is the bigger picture? What does it tell you?
When your staunchest supporter sees that you haven't lived up to expectations, and rather than even criticize you, that supporter decides, like Lolai said, to take a sabbatical and goes into his closet because he still doesn't even want to criticize. That tells you something right there. It tells you that something is inherently wrong with the way the country is being led. Lolai doesn't even want to criticize the party. That's how much he still believes in the CDC. He still believes in it. So that tells you right there, whatever policies they've had over the past 3.5 years, it hasn't benefited. The Pro hasn't worked. The Joe Jacksons, the Lolai, the Isaac Tokbats who believe in changing this country. The CDC that was once a movement has turned more into a failure because the numbers does not lie. The numbers does not lie. So Lolai is hurting. He still doesn't want to come out and just go out and criticize, but he is devastated. He said he came out of his sabbatical. That's important. The man doesn't still want to criticize, but eventually expect Lolai to come out full force. And when he does, I tell these guys to look out.
And there are lots of Lolai out there, lots of people who are Lolai. They are feeling very despondent. They are heartbroken. Yeah. They are ashamed. You heard Lolai say many of his friends bullying him in the community, Isaac. And they say, you guys put us in this mess. I mean, why would people? A lot of people say that to their people. I mean, you don't want to in a mess. So Georgia is such a calamity that people are pointing finger at the people and bullying them. I mean, can you imagine? You let people down.
Well, if I was not a strong individual, I wouldn't show my face. As much as I did not promote George Weah as an individual, I promoted an organization that he represented. So I was selling George Weah to the people as being the one who would lead this organization or lead this administration. And the fact that he has failed miserably at it, the same people who were telling me, don't join CDC, don't try to be the face of CDC, don't do this, don't do that, don't diagnostic, don't do that, will be corrupt, worse than LA. I say, how can anybody be worse than LA? Now I can't even guarantee that somebody possibly couldn't be worse than Joe. Yeah. But they are telling me day by day, oh my man, shut up, oh my man, you did this, you did that. But I love my country. So the fact that I made a mistake in the organization or institution I push to state power that is abusing it today and not working as I promised, does not mean I should exclude myself. So Lolai, my advice to you, get that stuff off your heart. If what's in you is to say, let me totally disclose where my feelings are about the failure and where my next political direction is, but don't go into seclusion. You have a right as a citizen, and exercising that right requires your participation as a responsible citizen in the body politic of this country. So don't draw back, get involved. You have contributed and you can stay contributing.
So now my problem with them, Costa, is that whenever they are speaking, they will say, "Oh, is because the folks are not reaching out to us. They don't have our time." So when they are leaving the party or even trying to leave the party, it's because of that. So my problem now is if, for instance, the Samuel Tour, the McGill, and other people were reaching out to them, but now they are not saying what they are saying. They could have been there and keep pushing for what's going on with us. So that's my problem with them.
Bagai, you do have a point, and I agree with you. I don't disagree. Many of the guys that are complaining today is because they are not okay personally.
Sure.
If they had jobs, if they had some money to do business or something, they would not give a damn that we are destroying the country. Let's be honest. Let's be very honest. If these guys were taken care of, they would not. People like Isaac is different. But I can tell you, many of the guys, if you get a small job, they get smaller money, destroy the country. We are all the way, take over, let go. Pile, job, pile. That's what we are saying. They would not care. So to be honest, it's personal for them. And Lolai didn't hide it, bro. Lolai said, for him, he paid a 5 children school fee. He got to take care of them. Nobody ever calls him. But then again, they feel that they helped bring this guy to power. What's their benefit? They're seeing the guy's benefit. They're seeing the guy building all the mansions, the condominiums everywhere, Larry. He's flying private jet. He clearly looks better than he used to look. McGill is burying his mother in the luxury mausoleum. And what do they have? I can't blame them. I can't blame them because you see, it's about reciprocity. We voted for you, we advocate for you, we defend you, even when you steal from the country. So to me, they are not patriots. They only want something for themselves. Again, as much as I feel sorry for Lolai because of how despondent he feels, and he's a friend. But if Lolai was okay, if McGill was calling Lolai every now and then, if Tue was taking care of Lolai would not give a damn about what's happening to the country. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Okay?
I wonder how was the party chairman's trip, whether it was successful, his trip to the U.S. to bring the old CDC people back.
Well, everywhere he goes, the people are complaining too. That things are bad, that they're embarrassed, and the people putting more on them. Some of the sentiments Lolai expressed are similar sentiments that people express. Because
a lot of seditions right in the neighborhoods, in the communities around, Monrovia or even outside Monrovia, they are really being vilified. They are blaming them.
They're being vilified, bullied and vilified. Like Lolai said, your friends, your family, they tell you, my man, y'all are more poor in a mess. You see? So it's embarrassing, and to make matters worse, Lolai already got to deal with the hardship in the country created largely by his people in power. While he's dealing with that hardship, Then the people telling he the one caused the hardship, or he helped cause the hardship,
and you're not benefiting.
and you're not benefiting.
No,
So
it's
then the man say, "But why?"
It's painful for those guys. I think we should open our
It is
arms and
painful.
invite them to the CPP. You know,
Yeah,
they got
so,
full access
yeah,
to
so we need to
them.
wrap our hands around them.
They can go to ALP, they can go to Liberty Party, they can go to Unity
But
Party.
no,
they
like
can-
you join the CPP. Yeah, you
No,
know.
but Costa, you know, seditions, they are committed though.
Well,
They
I
are
would-
very committed. Bringing them on board now, the CPP. You don't know as election time draw closer, they may not going to go back to the second
My
country.
man, Waka, I know many people who were seditious are today no longer. They are more against Jawia than you and myself.
That's a fact.
So June 7 protests, there was a group of seditious that had their own banner. That banner was printed, I think, in CNN and all published that banner. They
Yeah.
called Jawia a generational traitor.
It was
They
on
said the man
Reuters.
is a traitor of a whole generation. He betrayed a whole generation.
It was on Reuters. Yeah, well, on all the international press.
All international press carried that banner. Generational traitor. They had to call Jawia. This man is not just an ordinary traitor. He betrayed a whole generation. So I tell you this. A lot of them are very disappointed. Now there are some of them who will just stick with him for several reasons because it's tribalism for them. For some people, the man are my countryman. Whether he's destroyed the country, at least I'm a countryman in power. There's one of them right here, and I'm about to just block him because he's very annoying now. So my brother, you are gone. He's saying name Honorable Jide King. There's this thing with the Crown people and George Weah. I don't know what is it with the Crown people and CDC and George Weah. I don't understand it. Most Crown people I know support George Weah. They support him fanatically and chauvinistically and unquestionably. They don't care. He can kill 100 people. They don't care.
I hope not.
Mama, I'm telling you.
I hope it will not be like what he mean.
Trump.
Trump saying he can come on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and people will still support him.
My man, the Crown people and George Weah. Oh my God. I thought I just blocked the idiot. How is he back here?
So don't block him. You got many lives. Let him stay.
Okay. But
No,
he's just writing
it's
this thing.
blocked.
Oh.
No, it's blocked.
Yeah.
The system just catching up.
Oh, okay, yeah. That man that is black is gone. Let him carry it to the grand there. Yeah, but anyway. My man, and you know, I was married to a daughter of grand but I don't understand why they have this chauvinistic loyalty to Jawia. I don't get it. Guys, and Isaac and Larry, we gotta attempt to decipher this thing here. Why are Grandgenians more loyal to Weah than even people from Grand Crew, their own home county? Why? Larry, you take a first stab at it.
My man, I have no answer for that one.
That's a good one.
I mean, maybe
Larry, do you look at the numbers? 2005, Isaac, what percentage did Weah win Grandgenian by? 95%?
I think it was 95. It was high.
Yeah, maybe
No,
they're planting another second more tree over there.
98%.
Yeah.
98%. Yes!
Mm-hmm.
The man won Grandgenian by 98%.
But I mean, it has to be to mean the dual factor, you know.
Yeah, but then Samuel Doe's son ran for senator. They didn't vote for him.
No, but they believe that David Weah is the real Joe's son.
But
And,
listen,
you know, most of our people are loyal people because we have been
98%. Abraham Kennedy, thank you there for the thing. How can one county vote for one man 98%?
Yeah, but
And
if
guess
people as they talk about the do factor, then why would Nessie do be crying all around here?
There's a door, the Oma is crying. Jawia has not happened. The Oma went to the radio the other day. Just the day before she went to the radio, I was talking about her.
Yeah.
And the Oma went to the radio and said, Jawia can't do nothing for her. So, I mean, that old lady deserves a check from the government. She's the wife of a former head of state. They should send her a check every month. How much? She's explaining how Sammy used to put and do her away. So, but he liked George. We had them. He took care of them. How they used to go to the house, they would eat to the house. They'll put it in the car. Don't we all get them money? And that's all true.
Joe was a big football fan. He was a serious football fan. That's why he loved we are.
An avid football fan. Yeah. And he supported them. He promoted them. But the man can even take care of Sammy's wife. Sammy widow. He can take care of her. They all love him like that. He turned around. He wanted to buy Sammy land. The land Samuel Doe bought from Archie Bonner, right there by Pamuma. Archie Bonner turned around and wanted to sell that land to John Weir, knowing that Samuel Doe, I got the deed right here. Samuel Doe bought that land from Archie Bonner for his children. And John Weir turned around and wanted to buy the land. I had to expose that deal. I called Archie Bonner and recorded the conversation. I told you I was recording it, by the way, and I played it. And that's how John Weir backed off. And I told the Grand Jury people, you love John Weir so much because of Sammy Doe, but yet John Weir, you're trying to buy your land, the land that Archie Bonner had already sold to Doe. Then he told me on the phone, man, I didn't really want to sell my land to Doe. And Doe, you know, the man, our buy man, Doe forced me to sell the land to him. I sold the land under duress. I said, what? I played that recording. That's when John Weir backed off from the deal. If I had not done that, John Weir would have bought our land. So John Weir is a wicked man. He's an ungrateful man. So why do the Crown people love him? He's done nothing for Grand Jury. Let them tell me what he's done for Grand Jury County since becoming president. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But the Crown people love John Weir more than anything. I don't get it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. And you know, I always tell them this, and I hope the next president will not do this. When a whole county of people chauvinistically, fanatically support one man like that in that kind of bad way, you know what it does to them? It's bad for that county, for those people. Because what they do is that they are alienating themselves. So for the next government, the next government say, okay, hey, all the Crown people are supporting John Weir, we don't get time for you. And I hope that doesn't happen, because I don't believe in that. The government should be for everybody. But when you're making your business that only they make your land, we the Crown people that our president here. And the other government will come there and say, your time finished. Now our own time now. And silence all the Grand Jury people is wrong.
It's very wrong.
It's very wrong. You need to stop. But people will also make sure the CPP government will never silence the Crown people because of what you're doing today. What you're doing is wrong, and I can tell you this because I was married into your into your family, and I can tell you this: this chauvinistic way you support John Weir, it is very wrong for the Crown people. Very wrong for y'all. It stigmatized all of y'all. My man, the book can defend John Weir more than anything. It's wrong. It's extremely wrong. I don't know why y'all do that.
We really need to move away from the tribal politics and have a politics of
competence
or politics.
My man, look, guys, people in the CPP can be saying 2023 during campaign, we're not going to waste our time to Grand Jury. They can be saying that. And I don't blame them. I can tell them, no, gentlemen, we need to go and talk to some of them.
The good thing, though, is the numbers. At the end of the day,
they are not plenty.
They're not plenty.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. I don't know, for some reason the Crown people just not plenty people. So, in fact, the whole Southeast, and guys, this is the fact. Look at the numbers. You can take all the counties in the Southeast, you combine them. Nimba has more people than the entire Southeast.
Yeah, no question.
The people are not plenty. You see? But hey, man, you know, y'all don't do that because, hey, and guess what? There are nice people. I'm telling you, they're nice people. But there's their John Weir thing. I don't get it. My man, AVK, they say every year people are increasing. My man, I'm a pellet man will make up 20% of the population, my man, before you reach our tool. My man, we are plenty, my man. We're all over the place. We make up 20% of the population. Next tribe is Bassa. Bassa is 16%. You know? Yeah, man. You can't do this to the people. You just take the whole country and give it to one man. All the human beings ain't going to the country for 12 years.
What the next census so we know how many grandchildren have been added to the numbers? Who are
you know how many people because people born based on the size of the population. So we were not waiting to war firing.
But maybe we the people should try the Chinese strategy. We just for grandchildren and just marry grandchildren people.
Yeah, we go start one pele said to me grandchildren. We just marry people no grandchildren again. Then
they will be called grandpele. They will be
grandpele. Then they will lead the job we are visible. No, but listen, this is the way to disarm the grandchildren people. And I will say this for them, and I will push for this when the next government comes to power. For some reason, the Crown people believe that they didn't like Ellen because of Doe. We understand that, right? When people feel that way, you don't push them away. And I learned this from Madiba, Nelson Mandela, when he came to power in 1994. There were people who told him to completely ostracize the whites, the Afrikaners, because of what they did to them during apartheid. Mandela said for several reasons. One, economic. The white people control the economy. It is the first time we blacks have come to power. If we ostracize these people, they kill the economy. Our own people will turn against us and say, we the black people are not able to run the country.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's one. The second thing Madiba said is, you try to disarm your enemy of their fear. He said, powerful people do bad to you when they think, when they have fear of you, fear that you might do something bad to them. So to make them not try to hurt you, you disarm them of that fear. The grandchildren people, since the Tanya Doe episode, they feel that the rest of the country, one of the reasons why grandchildren are some of the most tribalistic people is because they feel that the rest of the country doesn't like them because of the Doe thing. So they have to hold together and they have to fight to protect one another. Guys, I'm telling you, I was married into the family. I'm telling you, I understand their psyche. Now, I don't blame them for feeling the way they feel. When a people feel that everybody else has a problem with them because of something maybe one of their kinsmen might have done, they feel isolated, they feel pushed to the margins of the society. Therefore, what do, guys? They become chauvinistic, they become highly tribalistic, they hold together. So here is how you disarm the grandchildren people, the Crown people. And they are nice people. I'll tell you this, nice people. You disarm them of their fear. You become president, you go to grandchildren, my people are here. You ain't go for me, but no problem. I come in Bay House here. I will open school here. I will do things here. I will hire good grandchildren in the government, not the VC one else. Competent grandchildren, they have some of the most educated people. And I will hire good grandchildren people who will do a lot of good projects in grandchildren content. You will see after a while, grandchildren will say, oh, but what if we acting like they for? The people ain't got problem no more. So that's what you do to the grandchildren people. That is my strategy for Crown people. Disarm them of their fear by embracing them, by working with them, by promoting their best and their brightest, by investing in their communities. You will disarm them. The Nelson Mandela strategy is what we will institute or we will promote in it. Now what we'll do to the Crown people. We'll disarm them.
Sometimes it's just ignorance and not being loved that turns people against their fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
we just gotta, like you said, man, we just gotta embrace people, embrace them, bring them in. Get rid of this whole tribalism politics.
Guys, the Mandingo people feel like that too. Just the way the Crown people feel, how the Mandingo people feel. The Mandingo people, I'm coming. I think you were coming. Look, I sat down and I studied this stuff. The Mandingo people feel that, first of all, a lot of people tell them, oh, you're not from here. You're not from here, which is absolute nonsense. Mandingos have been in Liberia forever. Wadu Boni is one of the oldest chiefdoms, is the oldest Mandingo chiefdom in Liberia. Mandingos have been in Liberia forever. Now, even before the settlers went to Liberia. But because Guinean Mandingos come from Guinea all the time, many Liberians, and Samuel Doe didn't help it either. Doe went to Guinea one day and came by and said, "Oh, I saw your president." you know, but the Mandingos hold together, and they are tribalistic too, very tribalistic. The two most tribalistic tribes in Liberia are the Mandingos and the Crown people. Period.
They just got their own partnership too.
Yeah, the Mandingos and the Crown people. And I think the reason why they're so tribalistic, they feel that the rest of the country is against them, or the rest of the country does not accept them. So therefore, we got to hold together like the Jewish people. It happens with the Jews. The Jews are like that. They hold
when you feel discriminated against, or you feel you are persecuted simply because of your identity, you tend to have that, inner commitment to each other and strength.
Precisely. If a Jewish, go ahead, Larry.
But you know what? You know what's so sad? You know what's? Imagine if we had white and blacks in Liberia. Can you imagine how the racism would be so widespread?
Oh my God!
We are all blacks, and we're looking for ways to discriminate against each other. I mean, you ever take a step back and say, "Wait a second, look at what's going on in America. We see blatant racism simply based on skin color. But in Liberia, we are all blacks. So what do? We start looking for religion as a means to discriminate. We start looking for a tribe as a means to discriminate. We go out of our way, not only to hurt ourselves economically, but we go out of our way to hurt our fellow men and brothers and sisters, our fellow brothers and sisters, based on tribe. What is wrong? What is wrong with us? We need to get our act together. We need to set aside this whole tribalism thing.
Guys, there's a way to destroy tribalism. My strategy is simple. Since whoever is going to be in power comes from a certain tribe, you do not promote your tribe unfairly and disproportionately over the rest of the country. Treat all the tribes fairly and equitably, and set up a system that seeks to be fair and just to all tribes. Let me give an example. I'm a Pele man. A Pele man, if I'm president of the country, I hire the best and brightest Crown people, Mandingo people, Kisi people, Loma people, irrespective of tribe, but the best and brightest, and equitably promote all people irrespective. I don't want, as a Pele man, as president, I don't want to see Pele people begin to shine as the favorite tribe in the country, the prosperous tribe in the country. Like right now, the Southeasterners are doing better in the country more than anybody else. The ones in the government, at least. Now, when you punish your own people when they do wrong, and the system is just and fair, when you go out for the Crown man when he does wrong, you think Crown people will defend their brother because he Crown? No. They will say, but the president is Pele and he punishes the own Pele people. Why should we protect you when you do wrong? That is one way. And then when you decentralize economic opportunities, you spread them out across the country, the people will feel like, oh, but we're part of this thing now. We can't act like, that's how you destroy tribalism.
That's exactly what this gentleman told me that Jerry Rawlings did in Ghana.
That's inclusion. Inclusion.
A policy of inclusivity, bringing everybody together, building a cohesive, harmonious society. Promoting all equitable, fair, just distribution of opportunities, resources across all of the tribes. So no tribe can feel like they're left out. No tribe can feel like they're all men better than me. So you think when Isaac does it wrong, did Bata will say, oh, the men are all now Bata brother? No, they will say no. That man did wrong. And he said the president punished his own country, man, and the man you get punished. Now the people got a parable. We say impact. We say, boo. The parable, what it means is that it's telling the opossum. The opossum likes to be in the Bogaba Hills, and when they catch the opossum, we're roasting it in the village. The one that stay in the Bogaba Hill around the village, the parable is saying opossum. You smelling your friend here, Bunny? That will be next. So the better man means when you see me doing this today, if I do it to my own child, coming for you. So the wife is like, well, by you better know many. So if you do
that mindset has spread to everybody, though. You know, especially even organizations and political parties. My own road and I rule, your own road I rule. We see that all the time with the kind of defenses that people put up.
Yeah.
If your political leader or a key leader in your organization is wrong, they're wrong. These false defenses don't do anything. And especially the people who, you know, and some wrongs are just simple wrongs. Like the gutter in drainages. Sensible people trying to defend that job we have others saying clutter, or you know, a gutter is you know, trash. Come on, people. We can't defend stupidity. Let's do the right thing as a people. When your brother wrong, he wrong. Tell him wrong. You don't have to ridicule him, but tell him he wrong. And like to your point, among us as Liberians, we got more things in common than we have differences. Let's try to accentuate our commonality, our shared interests, more so than the things that divide us. And if we do that, we can be a better country. That doesn't mean we're not disagree. That doesn't mean we're not mayflower. But let's focus on the positive things more than the negative things. And those kind of mindset changes, it takes a leader to start to say that, not to create divisiveness, but create cohesion and unity.
We don't live up to the standard of the Constitution. Oh yeah, one last thing. We don't live up to the standard of the Constitution, because nowhere in the Constitution says you cannot prosecute a Bassa man for stealing. I haven't read that chapter yet, but in case you find it, please inbox it over to me. It's nonsense. We just create things as a means to undermine our fellow brothers and sisters, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So don't forget, tomorrow 5 p.m. we got the show, the weekly wrap up. You want to tell the people a little bit, getting a sneak peek into what's coming?
Well, one thing's for sure, there will be no man cussing and passing, no part cussing. So let's just leave it like that. We're going to focus on some of the people who are being sanctioned, U.S. government sanctions, United Kingdom sanctions, corruption.
I hope the people know that your favorite topic of all topics.
That's it.
You're getting Larry who jail people in the country.
Asset recovery. Asset recovery. We even had a guy.
Your children would have had no problem with you. Strip everything from those people.
Asset recovery. Asset recovery.
You need to set some kind of example on the corruption team. So see that example that go around the country will be a story everybody will tell in the house. That one need to happen.
Make the thing fair for everybody, man.
Well, thank you guys, man.
Playing field. All right, Costa, enjoy your birthday, man.
We'll get 1 more hour.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right.